Welcome back to the Woolshift Dust holiday celebration, where the dial is as ever turned to our quest to watch our way through the many endless adaptations of A Christmas Carol. And who's we? Hi, I'm Alicia, here with my partner in Dickensian dissection. Hello, Luke.
Hello, Alicia.
This is our third and final roundup of Christmas Carol adaptations for this year. Check out the show notes for the other two and the many we covered last year as well. And It's a Wonderful Life adaptations the year before. We did cover also books, Dickensian books and other stories related to all this in the Supercast and Patreon book club feeds. A little bit more on that at the end. But yeah, you'll find all of that in the show notes. And by the way, we've been discussing our structure for next year, and we're going to go down one episode next year. So we've gone in hard attacking the first 2 years, and now we're going to do 2 episodes next year. Also because we're going to do I have a weird thing about matching it to the structure of the books, and there's 3 chirps in the third book.
you know when
4 quarters this year.
You know when I casually mentioned last year that wouldn't it be fun if we did a Christmas Carol adaptations? I had no idea the Pandora's box of content I was opening.
There's hundreds. There's literally hundreds.
So many of them.
So next year we're going to do one episode that's A Christmas Carol adaptations through time. So mixing together the classics and twists. And then there's going to be a theme episode. And next year's theme episode is TV specials. So we're definitely including Blackadder. I'm insisting on including Doctor Who. We'd love to hear what everyone else's favorite A Christmas Carol themed TV episodes are. So you can jump into the Discord and send it to, we have our Woolshift Dust channel there. You can leave it there. You can send us an email, woolshiftdustpodcast@gmail.com. You'll find links to both those things in the show notes. And next year we'll make a selection. So it's going to be popularity rules. So more votes means more likely to be covered. And then also, of course, just personal preference beyond that. And yeah, of course, we want to hear what other adaptations you love and would love for us to cover as well in general, including the feature films, of course. Anything to add to that, Luke?
No. I think you've covered it. I think you've covered all the bases. But yeah, I can't believe we're going to have 3 solid years of Christmas Carol content. That's just nuts.
I mean, there's 5 Christmas books, so
can we stretch this out for 5 years?
Oh, easily. I mean, can we stop after 5 years is the real question.
Oh, me and my big mouth. Wouldn't it be fun to do a Christmas Carol?
Aren't you entertained? Are you not entertained? Sorry, Gladiator quote. There should be a Roman-themed Christmas Carol. Let me know if anyone knows of one existing. Okay, so today we are this is the last Twists Alone episode, and we're covering 5 versions today, including 2 brand new films from 2025. We are covering Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol from 1962. That one's actually was way more classic than I expected. It's not really a twist.
It had the same thing of the play within a play thing that the Flintstones did.
Exactly. Yeah. Except this one went it just used that as a framing story and then ignored it in the middle, whereas the Flintstones really incorporated it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a short classic, 52 minutes long, and then the rest were features. We did 2 Ameri-Canadianacana or Canadianacana features, and an American Christmas Carol from 1979 with Henry Winkler as Scrooge. And that is set in Depression-era America, although filmed in Canada. And Ebenezer from 1998 with Jack Palance as, it's a Western version with Jack Palance as Scrooge, set in the Canadian West. And then there are 2 2025 movies where Christmas Above the Clouds is our Hallmark entry. And then, the last one is a doozy. It's Christmas Karma from 2025, which it did get a theatrical release, and it was just released on digital. In you can rent it in the US and the UK, and I'm not really sure where else.
It's on Prime, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can rent it from the places where you rent
Okay.
movies. But okay. So these more recent movies, I'm not going to link them in the show notes because, legal stuff. I can't. But you can find them. There are that, like we said, the ones up for rental. The Hallmark one has been out since November, so you can find that wherever you find Hallmark movies. And the other ones are easy to find on YouTube. Okay, so Luke, as our hot takes, we're just going to rank these 5 movies before we get into them. So, how would you rank these 5 films?
Okay, are we going top to bottom or bottom to top?
Surprise us, or just bottom to top, I guess.
Okay, so 5, I'm gonna go with Ebenezer, the Western
Mm-hmm.
Jack Palance one. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go 4 with American Christmas Carol.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3 with Mr. Magoo.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 2 with Christmas Karma because although there are a lot of issues with it, I like the ambition of Chris. I like what Chris Karma is trying to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go number 1 with the Hallmark movie. I'm a sucker for a Hallmark movie.
Yes. Yes.
So Christmas Above the Clouds is my number 1.
Okay. All right. I'll give my ranking, but I want to say up front, I absolutely enjoyed every single one of these on some level.
Yeah, I did.
um, I'm going to do. I think I'll also do Ebenezer in last place for reasons we'll discuss. Um, I'm sorry, Luke. I'm going to do next Christmas Above the Clouds. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I just if I'm ranking these, and then I'm going to do An American Christmas Carol, and then I'm going to do Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, and then yes, my number 1 is Christmas Karma. I unironically love this movie, even though it is a hot mess with a lot going on. It's got a lot going on.
We were talking off air about could we actually do Christmas Karma as a standalone episode, and
Easily.
we certainly could. We're just choosing not to.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So let's jump into the first one, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. This is one of the kind of more classics that just got bumped from last year because we weren't covering enough, were we? Um, and I have to say, after our coverage, the TCS on Discord also mentioned it, but it sounds like her sister likes it more than her. But that secured its spot on the list this year. It was time to cover it. Luke, were you familiar with this one? Are you familiar with Mr. Magoo in general?
I wasn't familiar with the Christmas special, but I was familiar with Mr. Magoo, the character in general. It was sort of I wouldn't say it was a staple of Saturday morning TV when I was a kid, but you got a lot of Hanna-Barbera, like Flintstones cartoons, and I know Mr. Magoo isn't Hanna-Barbera, but you got a lot of those kind of old 60s cartoons on early Saturday morning kids TV. So, yeah, I wasn't familiar with the Christmas special, but I was familiar with the character.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably was most familiar with. I'm familiar with Mr. Magoo as like sort of the whole idea of him, and I could not remember the fact that I had watched this until I rewatched it now, and for example, the whole lion knocker in like the face in the fire stuff, like I remember all that vividly, but then I was also like, whoa, this is a musical. So I obviously haven't watched it since childhood, but Mr. Magoo in general, not necessarily my cup of tea, the humor, but this really leaned away from that. This special, this really was just kind of a faithful adaptation for the most part.
Except they switched the
Yeah.
order of the ghosts. That really threw me.
Yeah, that was random. Why?
Yeah, I spent ages like fast forwarding and rewinding because I thought maybe there was a cut in the YouTube video somewhere. Maybe maybe there was a section missing or something.
Did you watch? I linked that complete history of Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol
No,
from
I
the.
didn't have chance
Okay.
to watch. I didn't have chance to watch
Okay,
that.
okay, because he references that. I'll put it in the show notes for anyone who wants to see it. Just a YouTube video about how this came about, and he references that as well. And to be honest, I don't know that I necessarily noticed at first, and then it's like, oh yeah, that did happen backwards. But they still spent more time on present, so maybe that's why the
Yeah.
pacing. Yeah. But yeah, so because I'm not familiar with Mr. Magoo, I don't know if there are regular characters beyond him, and if so, if they popped up here. If anyone does know that stuff, let us know, but just don't have that expertise. But this short's 53 minutes, produced by UPA, which RIP, they were a short-lived production company. This was directed by Abe Levitow, and it was released on NBC on December 18th, 1962, with music composed by Jules Stein and Bob Merrill. And what makes this a landmark is this is apparently, according to the little doc I watched, this is the first ever made for TV special for Christmas.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems incredible. But okay. So it was made on the cheap on the production side, and they invested more in the music, and they were hoping that the music would become holiday staples, which
No, not really.
I mean, it was pleasant, you know.
Yeah, it was perfectly okay. But the best song in there is the version of On Broadway. So
Oh, I was gonna say like the Ringle Ringle perhaps is memorable, but I don't know. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, but so the creator basically this was a bid to save their studio, and they were like, well, both Scrooge and Magoo are nearsighted in their understanding, because Magoo's whole shtick, if anyone doesn't know, is that he can't see well, so he runs around groping objects, and that part's not funny to me. But this is a decent.
it's yeah. I mean, it's okay. I got to say, I liked it better than the Flint. I liked it better than the Flintstones
Oh, no way. No
last
way.
year.
Incorrect.
You are wrong. You are wrong, sir.
Your opinion is invalidated by mine.
I liked it. I liked it better than the one we watched earlier on. The
Rankin Bass
American
one?
Japanese. Sorry,
The Rankin Bass
the
one?
Rankin Bass one. Yeah, because the kids didn't give me nightmares. This one.
Well, so Rankin Bass in the US is like the most famous like Christmas staple. They other things as well. They've done some of my favorite things, but they are especially known at Christmas time, and apparently they were the second out of the gate, inspired by this Mr. Magoo's Christmas special.
Okay.
And I'm glad, by the way, the version we watched apparently there's two versions. We saw the correct one, which is there's a clipped version that was broadcast, but we saw the full one with the song by like the Charwoman and blah blah blah.
Okay.
That whole usual stick.
I mean, it's interesting because it's not feature length. It's only 52 minutes. It's not.
Yeah. Apparently they were going to go for the more comedic Mr. Magoo bent, but then they pulled back and made it more faithful. And normally I would say do your thing, but in this case I like it better this way. So
yeah,
thanks.
I know. I was never a huge fan of Mr. Magoo. I was always more into the Flintstones, or especially the Jetsons. Actually, really like the Jetsons.
Absolutely. Yeah. What did you think about? So we compared it to the Flintstones. This one has like that touch of magical realism, but it's really more just like he shows up, and the only trope we get of the Mr. Magoo is the coming and going at the beginning and end when he, arrives at the theater, and then the whole play, quote unquote, is in character like its own film. Rather than what I liked about the Flintstones is that it wove together the real stories about, the actual lives of Fred and Wilma and all of them, and the story itself. So it was operating on multiple levels. Whereas this one, it's like, look, I'm an actor. Now I'm on stage. Story. End of story. Remember, I was an actor. Now we go.
Yeah, because that's definitely true, but that was what bothered me about the Flintstones one, because it kept taking me out of the story. Because going, are these guys like, if these are just people playing ghosts, they're very convincing ghosts. Like that guy is translucent, for goodness sake.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm
a very literalist bent of mind. Is it a ghost or is it not a ghost?
Well, but it was the same thing here, but there it just immersed you in the story. It didn't like zoom back out ever, because that's what the Flintstones did, is it would immerse you in
Yeah.
this magical realism and then zoom back out and be like, remember, you're on a stage and dinosaurs are blowing wind to make the effects.
Yeah.
This one's definitely more faithful. It directly quotes the book
Yeah,
a
several
lot.
times.
And as their carol, they chose Hark the Herald, which is the second most acceptable one, I suppose.
Yeah, every time they do that, every time it's not God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, I'm sitting there thinking Alicia's going to knock a point off with it. Alicia's going to knock a point off
So
with this.
someday we're going to do a spreadsheet of tracking all of these stupid little things that I track. Nobody ever has an eldest son with the too big shirt collar. Where's that?
Where's that? Yeah.
Where are the Dutch tiles when he's having indigestion before bed? No, I'm not. I'm not even like, it's just, I find it just an interesting thing to track because this is one of those things too. We'll talk about something later in this episode where it is, these adaptations become also adaptations of other adaptations. So it's really interesting to track where certain changes start and then get carried forward in other films.
Yeah.
My other bugbear, how do you say it?
Either bugbear, bugaboo, either work.
Okay. Is the whole Christmas past. This is not a bad Christmas past. Very simple, but ghostly, androgynous, candle flame over the head.
Yeah.
Pass. I think, in general, like all of the ghosts in this, all the characters, they fit the archetypes well, and they're artistically simple and I suppose character-wise simple but effective versions. And that's the same for like the song and overall. It's simple but effective. It's like a good, solid go-to, I would say.
Yeah, solid is the word I would use to describe the entire thing. I've got no problem with it. It went down very nicely while I was watching it. Will I ever watch it again? No, probably not.
Yeah.
It was workmanlike. It got you from point A to point B. It was fine.
I mean, this is a big favorite with a lot of people. It was clipped in Scrooged, but we didn't necessarily call that out at the time because we hadn't watched this one yet. It's parodied in The Simpsons 'Tis the 15th Season episode, which is one of the ones on our potential list for next year. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has a big legacy. I'm sure I'll watch it again, but it's not going to be, with all of the options that we have at our fingertips, it's not going to be the first one I go for,
No.
But it's got all of the touchstones: Fezziwig, the laundress, very kid friendly. I think if I were introducing a kid for the first time, this is a decent one. This or Mickey.
Yes, I was thinking that. I was thinking this would be something I might show to my nephew because it's short enough as well that it'll hold his concentration as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it has that inexplicable ending where the director just gets pummeled with doors.
But yeah, I think that's like you were saying earlier. We haven't done enough of like Magoo stuff, so we've got to throw in a bit. We've got to throw in literally a side gag.
And for me, I was like, I was enjoying it. Don't remind me it's Magoo. Oh, anyway. Any final thoughts about the Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol?
No.
Okay. Well, this is a good spot to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to head to Canada for their Christmas carols. Just a sec. All right. Now, we're going to talk about these two kind of through each other because they are, I don't know, they feel similar in some ways and really, how do you say, contrast each other in other ways. So the first one is An American Christmas Carol, 1979. This was a TV movie released on ABC, December 16th, 1979. This is the one starring Henry Winkler in a Depression era setting with a screenplay by Jerome Coopersmith, who also did, I've talked a lot about how my favorite Christmas Rankin Bass is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. He wrote that one. This one was directed by Eric Till. And the other one that we're contrasting with, so that was American Christmas Carol. The other one is called Ebenezer. It's from 1998. It is a Western take on a Christmas Carol set in Western Canada. starring Jack Palance, written by Donald Martin, directed by Ken Jubinville. And this, again, TV movie aired November 25th, 1998. And this, it's called Ebenezer. If you're looking it up, don't confuse it with the Ty West adaptation coming out with Johnny Depp next year, which of course we will cover. And I have to say, this one, like, we both ranked it at the bottom, but I did end up taking a lot of notes about this one, more like out of being baffled.
Yeah, there was some odd creative choices here.
What is going on here? So it'll be fun to talk about, even if, and
Yeah.
like, I had a good enough time watching it. It was just,
it's just very strange.
It was kind of train wreckish without the redeeming qualities of Christmas Karma.
Yes.
So putting these two head to head, Henry Winkler versus Jack Palance as Scrooge, or in Winkler's case, it's called Benedict Slade, but whatever, as a Scrooge character, who do you think did a better job? Who was
Henry
more compelling?
Winkler. I mean, actually, I've only ever seen Henry Winkler as the Fonz. I know he has been in other stuff, and I know he was in that TV show Barry, and apparently got very good reviews for that. But I've never like seen him as anything other than a comic actor. So actually, I was really impressed. I was really impressed with his performance. Probably because I went in with unfairly low expectations. But yeah, he gives a really good performance. And and unlike Ebenezer, the period setting in this one actually works. Yeah.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I just think that the Great Depression is a good time to do A Christmas Carol.
Right.
It's a very good time to tell that story and that moral.
Right.
Whereas putting it in a Western doesn't really work.
Well, we'll talk about the moral of the Western one in a little bit. But yeah, I question that if they really get the Dickens of it all, what Dickens was all about. But so Henry Winkler, just in case anyone doesn't know that name, is the Fonz, as you said, from Happy Days. He's also been in lots of other stuff, still working today. Played Gene Cousineau in Barry, which was a favorite show of mine. Just, a weird, dark action comedy about a hitman who wants to become an actor. And he's just a famously nice guy. So, of course, I'm always rooting for him. This was during the height of his Happy Days fame. So when we see him as the younger Scrooge or the younger Slade, that's him. And then he has the old age makeup for older Benedict Slade. Yeah.
And then
they changed all the names. I don't know why they changed all the names.
Yeah, why change the names? The makeup works surprisingly well, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was done by Rick Baker, who is one of the most famous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite effective. And his whole backstory it's changed a bit. His parents are dead. He has no sister. He was no sister from his original family. We don't know anything about his original family. He's just an orphan. He was passed around aunts and uncles who apparently didn't want him. So they sent him to an orphanage where he was adopted by Mr. Brewster to learn the furniture business and that whole thing was weird when he was being adopted, and is like he was being beaten into being adopted.
It's like, basically, Mr. Brewster is the Fezziwig,
right?
The Fezziwig stand-in,
and
yeah. But yeah, it's like you can come and work in my workshop and sweep up after everybody and pay attention to them using the tools. Because hang on. So what are you adopting a child? Or are you hiring an employee?
Well, both. Which, to be fair, was a real practice that people would adopt an apprentice. And so I guess we're also not supposed to be weirded out by the fact that the two characters, Franny and Belle, are the same, his sister wife. Because, basically he's raised in this, at least his teen years in this family with her. And, but it's the same as Frankenstein. And so in the books. So, so, and then we get, Ben Slade is advocating, like he turns wicked by becoming too, he wants to mass produce thing. Like he's advocating at this furniture shop for like a proto IKEA assembly line style furniture over handmade furniture. So true or more true, he would totally be an AI bro today.
Yeah, he would be an AI. He would be an AI bro, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Um.
yeah. So go ahead.
Also, also that mustache is a thing of beauty. The mustache he is wearing as a younger man, I think, to make him not look like the Fonts, to be
Right.
honest. But yeah,
True.
it is an extra. I don't know whether it's real or whether it's
It
a
can't be.
prop,
It
but it's
can't
an
be.
extravagant mustache.
Very shiny and long and curled slightly,
Yeah,
curled outward. Actually, I didn't recognize him for a second when he showed up back later. You know,
yeah,
with because he leaves his family. He leaves his girlfriend who gave up her chance to go to finishing school, and then he's like, "No, well, I have to be somebody." Usual Scrooge stuff, and of course, it's as ever too late by the time he comes back, especially when he takes advantage of yeah, he basically makes moves against the man who adopted him, who then dies of a heart attack.
yes. So definitely a tech bro.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cruel. Um yeah, and I love, though, to your point, you always talk about Scrooge not being evil, but being misguided. That whole thing when he brings in the carolers who are singing "We Three Kings," by the way, it's not one of the options. No, I do like that one. Um, but yeah, so they're the orphanage children. He pulls out gifts of a stocking, like he's going to be giving them something, and then it's pamphlets about never asking for handouts. And the orphanage guy says to the kids, like, listen, he really believes it. He doesn't mean to be as cruel as he is. So I thought that was a point in that favor for you
Yes.
that you bring up.
Yeah, and like he's talking about, be like the great American man, like Calvin Coolidge, like Calvin Coolidge. And it's, okay, yeah. The point about it being set in the Great Depression. Okay, yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah,
Um and then and then he goes and forecloses on a farm, repossesses a piano from his old children's home, um, and liquidates a bookshop, and it sounds like, by the way, Slade had fun at school. That's the case in both of these. They liked
yes, it
school.
sounded like the orphanage actually looked like a very well appointed, quite nice
Yeah,
orphanage.
cozy.
Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
they had a piano until he took it.
yeah,
And then he liquidates a bookshop, which happens to have an original edition of A Christmas Carol, the actual book. So yes, this book exists within this world. And then he starts ripping apart the books. Like, I thought you wanted money. Sell the
that's
books.
yeah. That's a first edition, man.
Yeah, do you know
I
books?
I get that it's a nicely bound leather cover and all that. It's
Yeah.
proper leather, but jeez.
You know what makes it even more valuable? Having the original pages in
Yeah.
it. Oh, so okay, so that's Slade. So let's step over to, I have less to say about Palance, although I have to say I looked into him as an actor, as a person, a little bit, just out of curiosity. He passed away in 2006 at age 87. He got 3 Oscar nominations while he was alive, and one, I remember this one, he won for City Slickers in 1991, which feels like a career achievement Oscar. He was a rancher himself. And yeah, I thought of him as a conservative dude, and I suppose he is, but he's a much more sensitive soul than I expected. Like, he gave up eating beef because he's a rancher. He's like, "Oh, I can't eat those cows." No. He also painted landscape art and wrote poetry and would sell them. Um, I don't know. Do you know much about Jack Palance?
I just know him from I just know him from City Slickers.
Okay.
I know he was like he was in a lot of films and a lot of TV shows, but the only thing I know him from is City Slickers.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was from Pennsylvania, which is where I grew up. So he really was proud of being from there, and then transplanted to the mountains in California. And by the way, both Palance and Winkler have stars in the Walk of Fame. But So I think it's interesting that this character is from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania and then moved out west and then eventually to Canada in search of gold. And I'm sure they actually did go to Canada in search of gold, as in funding for their movie. But yeah, hopefully the movie, unlike the character, didn't cheat everyone along the way there.
Yeah.
Like, because that's kind of my thing with this version is casino owner, fine, but he's like, he cheats at cards. He's not just being miserly. He's actually committing crimes. He stole from Fezziwig and ran off. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of it's the point. He is evil. He's not indifferent. He's actually a bad guy.
hmm.
Yeah, and I think Jack Palance is fine as the Ebenezer character, but he is doing, it's very much a vehicle for Jack Palance. He is doing all the heavy. He's doing all the. I mean, Scrooge is obviously a main character in any adaptation, but Jack Palance is doing all the heavy lifting in this.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really.
He's like the only one who can act in this movie. Just
the side characters are reduced down to the minimum you can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say there's a lot of weak acting outside the leading men. Both of these are star vehicles. That's another thing they have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much in An American Christmas Carol. I thought the supporting actors in American Christmas Carol were fine, but yeah.
All right. Do you want to talk more about them?
Yeah. So we've got the standard side characters. So Marley is Jack Leonard? Latham, thanks. Who is like is Sledge's mentor, obviously. But when he haunts him, he talks about hell being basically you're locked in a room with your own mistakes.
Yeah.
So he's not dragging around boxes or heavy chains or anything like that. He's just sitting in a chair and he's talking about like a politician is trapped in a room listening to every speech he ever made. General sitting there having to look at the faces of every soldier that ever died.
Mm-hmm.
So like hell is just a constant repetition of your own mistakes, which actually I think is I don't know what hell looks like, but yeah, that sounds pretty hellish.
Yeah. Well, then I was okay. Wait, I did quote that in a later section. He says, "Hell is not what you think of, fire and pitchforks." And he says, "Thank God," Slade says, and Marley, what's his name, Jack Latham, says, "It's worse, living your past all the time." So then I was wondering, are the hauntings a taste of hell then?
Yeah, probably.
So this 79 one, the one with Henry Winkler, was filmed in and around Elora, Ontario, with sound stages in Toronto. So it was filmed in Canada, despite it does seem to be set. It's set in the fictional town of Concord, which I think is supposed to be like every town USA.
Well, no, there is a town of Concord, New Hampshire.
I mean, I think there's a lot of towns called Concord.
Okay, but there is definitely one in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Which is where this was supposed to be.
Oh, it did say that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But most of the film's actors and crew were Canadian. So again, that Canadian gold. What did you think about the Thatchers were the Cratchits?
The Thatchers were the Cratchits. Yeah, I thought they were quite good. You made a point to me in WhatsApp that the tiny Tim stand-in doesn't understand the mechanics of crutches. But
no, he just stands up and then puts them down. I'm like, dude, you've never broken your leg.
Yeah, no, you don't understand how crutches work.
Yeah. So we have Bob, who's fighting to reopen the mines, and Slade fires him. And this is the trope, by the way, I was saying, apparently, because it comes up in a couple of these movies today, where the Scrooge character fires the Cratchit character, and I'm like, that's so random that a few of them haven't. But apparently, it comes from the 1938 classic movie, which, by the way, it was almost on our list this year. We just had to.
Yeah, we can only watch so many adaptations.
Yeah. So 1938, 100% on next year's list. But that's apparently where the firing Cratchit trope comes from.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Bob wants to reopen the mines, and he points out, rightfully, that Slade would also benefit from a more prosperous town, which and the fact that Slade, this is like Slade also ripping apart the books, like that you
Yeah.
are giving away money. It's hard to reconcile this short-sightedness with the means well, not evil characterization.
Yeah, did the Slade character remind you of Potter out of It's a Wonderful Life as well?
Okay.
Yeah,
Um.
in that he kind of owns the town basically.
Mhm.
Everybody owes him money.
Right. True,
Yeah,
true, true. Yeah, good
yeah,
point, good point. All right. All right, it's pivoting to the 98 to this setting and acquaintances of our Scrooge, Jack Palance's Scrooge. That one was filmed. I was like, I love the production design. And then I wrote in my initial notes, probably actually just a theme park
No,
because
you know
it's so
what?
perfect.
You know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. Because near where I grew up, like where you went
Hmm.
for birthdays and stuff, there was a theme park called the American Adventure,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it had so it was broken up into various sections. So it had like a Hollywood bit, and it had like a pirates bit, but the biggest part of it was the Old West, and it had like a proper like movie set, and like twice a day you'd have like this little play that they'd put on where like people would be jumping off horses,
Right.
jumping through like rings on fire and stuff. And it was as a kid, it was the coolest thing ever because you got to go on a bunch of rides, and then you ended the day looking at like these guys throwing knives. I'm sure they weren't real knives, but like
Hmm.
throwing knives at each other and having like quick draw contests and high noon kind of thing. It was great as a kid. It's not there anymore, unfortunately. But it really, really reminded me of the American Adventure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I immediately thought of those kinds of theme parks. I looked up where it was filmed, and what I could find was the CL Ranch in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So I don't know if all of it was filmed there, but at least part of it was filmed at the CL Ranch. But it looks like I like to go to those kinds of theme park things, you know? I have
Yeah,
fun with those,
I love the American
like
Adventure.
Williamsburg. Yeah.
Yeah, every birthday party, because it was like about 45 minutes from my house. So every birthday
Mm.
party, every school trip ended up there.
They're
Yeah,
fun. um, And so the weird thing though about when we talk about the side characters, we'll get to the typical ones, but this Ebenezer Western movie added a couple.
yeah.
They added a character named Samuel Benson, who's played by Ricky Schroeder. Do you know? Does that name say anything to you?
Yes, because it was driving me mad
Okay.
where I knew him from.
Uh
Because I
huh.
knew his face. So I had to look him up on IMDb. He was
Right.
Elliot's boyfriend in about 4 episodes of Scrubs.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. Fair.
Yeah.
Um, he was famous as a child actor. He was the youngest Golden Globe winner, and then he, remains acting. He has more recently been in like Western shows like Lonesome Dove or cop shows
Okay.
like NYPD Blue. But he's most recently made a name for himself with videos that have gone viral of him, like going after people because of masks and things like that. So, he was very vocally anti-mask and bailed out Kyle Rittenhouse, the shooter. So he
Oh,
has,
okay.
yeah,
We've gone down that road, have we?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he was the male nurse who was going out with Elliot in about 4 episodes of Scrubs. And like
Okay,
literally as
good
soon as I looked him
memory.
up on IMDb, yes, that's where I know your face from.
I mean, yeah, I've watched all of Scrubs, but I don't remember him from that. But that's probably because I just knew who he was already. Then
Okay.
it didn't register. Um, but yeah, so in the movie, Sam, he has his girlfriend Erica, and they are saving up to marry. But then I love how the introduction to these two characters is, "Oh, baby, I want to get married, but I need to save first." Sorry, this that's I can't do the Western accent. But then he
I quite
immediately
like the accent. I thought you did quite well.
thanks. But then he says this to her, like, I need to save my money. And then he's standing in front of a casino and walks into the casino, like right after. He's like, you go to work. I'm going to get you out of that job. Go save some money inside this casino.
By the way, the job is apparently she is the maitre d' at the local restaurant / brothel, essentially.
Yes. She's working as a maid.
It's made
because she's saving herself.
It's made very clear that she is not one of the sex workers. She's not one of the sex workers.
But she still gets judged for it because this film has some points it wants to make, which are atypical for Christmas Carol adaptation.
Yes.
But yeah, this is another one where it seems, well, I guess it's not that Scrooge owns the whole town, but he does end up, he's cheating at cards, as we already said. So he wins Sam's money and he's pressuring Sam to gamble more so he can take his deed to his house. He ends up with his horse. The cheating thing, like, first of all, I knew right away he was cheating, but what was the spit thing about? I never figured out.
That's the thing. I understood he was cheating, but I have no idea like how he was doing it. There's something to do with the false bottom in the table. There's something to do with the false compartment in the table. But I don't understand like how that helps you.
But so, I mean, the false compartment, like, I can see just coughing or whatever, you get the car, you distract people. Maybe this, like, why does the spit not go in the spittoon when they spit from that seat?
It doesn't. No, it's never really very well explained what's going on.
I mean, but just essentially he's distracting people and then taking cards from a, like, false bottom under the table. I don't know.
Yeah, that's about as far as you get.
Yeah. But so he ends up winning against Sam because of all this and taking all of his stuff. But then the lawman bellhop.
What? Like, clearly the costume department just ran out of money because the sheriff is dressed as a bellhop. There's no other way of putting it.
Yeah, he just literally has a bellhop cap on. So, and it turns out he's the nephew character, and he intervenes and is like, come on, uncle, have a heart, give him one night at his place to, like, clean up and get out. And also his girlfriend is saving herself for marriage, but then she's apparently spending the night at his place in, I guess this is supposed to be the 1880s, 70s, so.
But just to go back to the sheriff for a second, because that really just threw me completely, because it's like, I'm sorry guys, we've run out of money. We can't get any more cowboy costumes. All right, what's in the bottom of the truck? We've got this bellhop outfit. Can we get away with that? Yeah, stick it on. Don't worry about it. It's like, why are you dressed like that?
I did actually go on a little deep dive after watching this movie on the internet, trying to find, like, is there some sort of Canadian sheriff historical costume that looked like a bellhop? And the internet's like, I don't know what you're looking for, lady, but it doesn't exist. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I can't.
And that's me doing it the old-fashioned way, by the way. I never use AI searches.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't take this Western version of A Christmas Carol entirely seriously.
No, it's fair. But so Sam's going to get kicked out on Christmas Day. And then back in the saloon, it's empty now because, there was the big fight between Sam and Scrooge and everyone's skedaddled. But Cratchit has to, of course, stay and clean. And then he's shamed into asking for his salary. Like, how dare you ask for the money I owe you? And then when he finds the secret cheating compartment under the table, he gets fired for it, which you would think it would be the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got dirt on Ebenezer.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think he would be like, I will fire you if you tell anyone.
Yeah.
Not like, you're a free agent now. Like, there's no motive for him to bite his tongue after that.
And also, why is he constantly demanding that Cratchit take his boots off so he can throw them at people? Like, what?
And then he's making Cratchit walk barefoot through the mud to retrieve his own boots.
Yeah, what?
He's throwing them at the carolers,
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tim comes And this time he has a respiratory illness. That's another thing that'll be a marker for me because Charles Dickens is like, little Timmy, he's sick. Don't worry about how, but he's sick and he needs money. And so it's always interesting to see how each adaptation handles that, what direction they go. I don't think I mentioned that was also a good tie-in with the one set in the Great Depression with the Henry Winkler one. Is he has polio, it sounds like, at least that's what they hint at. So that's a historical tie-in.
Yeah, that is kind of, it's either polio or diphtheria. It's one or the other, but yeah.
So that one was tied in historically. This one is just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. But Timmy comes into the saloon, hugs Scrooge and gives him a gift he carved from himself. What did you think of this Timmy?
He was fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he was perfectly
kid, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. He was an adequate Tim.
Yes, fair. Yeah. Fair. Not like the other one. So this movie wins on that point, at least.
Yes.
And then, we find out his old business partner is Jacob Marlowe instead of Marley. Whatever, fine. And the picture keeps turning up. There's a couple this time where they just turn up in a picture instead of the door knocker thing.
Yeah.
Like that's now been a trope that's been worked into these. And then we find out that the saloon was actually Jacob Marlowe is Erica's father, Sam's girlfriend, who's working at the brothel nearby. And the saloon was owned by her father until Scrooge cheated him out of it in a poker game, the same way he just did with Sam. And his father was like, what do you think are the chain of events? So he cheated him out of it. And then his father was like dying of randomly or of sadness or something. And then he said, you promise you'll give this to my daughter. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then he refused to even give his daughter a job there.
Yeah, it felt to me like this was like the penultimate draft of the script. Like they needed one more go over the script. Because there were just holes in it that did, like, you could tell the direction they were going in, but they hadn't like figured out how all the pieces fit together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and of course her mother died in childbirth because, of course. And then I do think Lama and Bellhop was or Bellhop Sheriff, whatever we want to call him. He was low-key my favorite because of his costume and because he was the worst actor of the bunch.
Oh, yeah. Like literally, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like crap, we haven't cast the sheriff. Quick, Grip,
literal bellhop.
Yeah, Grip. Come on, want to be the best boy? Come over here. Just stand here.
There. Be the nephew.
Yeah.
Oh, and the carolers are singing "Angels We Have Heard on High," which again, not even an option, not even on the list.
No.
All right, let's check back in on the Henry Winkler one from 1979 with the whole spirits and visions of it all, where I love how the book exists within the book, and then reading the book seems to trigger the haunting. And I think the effects in this one, like you said, it's just a guy sitting in a chair. It's very muted, but obviously they didn't have much budget, and I think they did a good job with it because the production design carries the mood.
And I like that the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future are all characters we've already met in the real world. So whether that's like the spirit of Christmas tapping into Sledge's memory, or whether it's something else, but I like the fact that they're all played. I mean, it saves that you're hiring more actors, but I thought that was quite a cool touch to have each of the spirits represented by somebody we'd already met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Christmas past is the bookkeeper, the trumpet player, the book store guy. Present is the guy from the orphanage, and future is the farmer that he repossessed from. But then there's that whole weird thing about, but you're modern now. And they're like, yeah, I'm Jive. No, he didn't actually say that, but he might as well have.
Disco ghost of Christmas yet to go.
Yeah. He had the big collar.
Yeah. Big collar, chain, open neck shirt.
Very, just so we remember it's the 70s.
Yeah, disco.
Um, and then, yeah, he wakes up in bed to both of our favorites, Silent Night, then God Rest Ye.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen motif continued heavily throughout the second half of this film. So I was singing it the entire next day.
Yeah.
Of course, we find out Helen was the love, married a pharmacist and had a daughter. Yeah, I already said the Thatchers were the weakest part for me. Although I did think it was funny when they check in on them in Christmas present. And Bob says he lost his job, and the little girl is like, if you don't get another job, Daddy, are we going to starve to death? He's like trying to distract them, and she's having a meltdown in the corner. Way to pressure Daddy, kid.
And also, I thought, like, it's if you don't tell, you've got a secret. Like, oh, I've lost my job. Oh, I thought you'd killed somebody with an axe. Wow, that's dark, kid.
Yeah, and then we find out that of course, there's the trope where Timmy has to go to some clinic far away. It's the only clinic that can do the thing.
In Australia, in Australia, it's the first but not the last time Australia is going to crop up.
Yeah. So this was a real thing. This Elizabeth Kenny's clinic in Australia, because cool. Yeah, again, this one is concerned with historical accuracy. So, and I like that. The historical tie-in, as I said. And of course, in the future, we see the auction for Slade's stuff. He's not valued. His stuff is burned, and his grave is grown over and unvisited. So that's the hauntings. So let's check back in on our westerns, where Jacob Marlowe shows up pointing a gun back at Scrooge with a warning of damnation. It's saying he once considered him a friend. Clock spin backwards. I mean, Jacob Marlowe in this case was kind of a silly whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would say the thing we maybe have to talk about more is Christmas Past, who we see these people in the streets. Again, we see random people in the streets who disappear, who turn to be spirits. We saw at least two of them. I don't know if we saw the third. And Christmas Past ends up being, she's a hooded lady with a fringed, I'll say, outfit on. She is played by Michelle Thrush, who is a real Cree woman. I will acknowledge that. But she is, she's Native American, dressed as a stereotype, treated as a stereotype. And the first question she's asked is if she has met Pocahontas. No, if she is Pocahontas, and she says she's met her. And I'm like, these people don't know each other. She's from West Coast Canada. Pocahontas was from frickin' Virginia, okay? For centuries before.
As soon as it started, I thought, don't make the Ghost of Christmas Past a Native American, don't.
Especially if it were grounded in anything. Yeah. Like if there were even a moment, I thought that they were going to have him be like, you took the land that used to belong to my people. But none of that. Not even a second.
Yeah, you were going to do the whole and then passing on the wisdom of the ancestors. Passing on the wisdom of the ancestors thing. And yeah.
They just wanted her to wave her hands around and look exotic.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't work that into the plot at all. But they did work in some really cheesy, the flying effects when they're hovering above the balcony. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a made-for-TV movie, and not an expensively made-for-TV movie. So you've got to cut it a little bit of slack. But yes, the special effects were not good.
It's just that where they're like flying and they're just kind of like hovering, like woo. Like, just go. Just don't linger on that. Don't linger on that shot. But yeah, then we see, of course, we talked about the whole that he's from Philadelphia, and we find out they're singing a random Hallelujah song that might be an original composition. Didn't look it up. And the father, we find out, is looking down because he made a bad investment and is feeling remorse. And the horrible thing that happened to Scrooge is that when he was 12, he loved going to his school. But he was told that his father was pulling him from it, but never explained why. So he just resented his father from it forever. And all his father said in return is, the world is not an easy place.
Actually, there is a financial panic in 1876, so
Sure, this makes so it
yeah,
ties in. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Good point. Good point. You should
yeah,
give this more. They should give this movie more credit because there's another historical tie-in I'll mention too.
yeah.
And yeah, then we see Fezziwig General Store. So it's backwards. Scrooge in this version loves school, did not like working for Fezziwig because he Fezziwig was nice, but Scrooge thought he deserved better. And he just freaking outright steals from him and runs away. What did you think of that?
And steals a lot of money from him by the look of
Yeah.
it as well. He's not just taking like the odd bit of change, he takes everything that's pretty much everything that's in that till.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but it's okay because he leaves him a note. He wasn't stealing the money, he was just borrowing it.
But then the note blows away and he never pays him back regardless.
Yeah, no.
And then so he's traveling from town to town looking for gold, and he meets, instead of Isabel, it's a woman named Rebecca Gordon, in Deadwood, of course. It's just randomly mentioned. And she is the daughter of a cattle rancher. So they marry, and he ends up taking over the father's ranch when the father gets too ill. But when the cows get sick, Ebenezer decides to fire the cowhand. Who knows? Again, what is with this? You think firing people makes them keep secrets? You know how people work. And then he tricks someone else into buying the ranch. And he's horrible to Rebecca's father on his deathbed until he basically has a heart attack on the spot. And he says, like, I'm just going to take your daughter and go to Canada and look for gold. And he does that. But then Rebecca's like, this sucks. You suck. I'm running off with the sheriff. And
not Sheriff Bellhop.
Not Sheriff Bellhop. Not
Different
the nephew.
Sheriff.
Okay, but here's a question about the nephew: is how did he even get there?
Yes.
Like, how did he even get in this same town from Philadelphia, presumably where his sister?
Who sired the nephew, and how did he get there?
He had a sister in the flashback, but they didn't mention her at all, or why the nephew. Like, did the nephew think his uncle was going to get him work? You're leaving story on the table there.
Yeah, like I say, this script really needed one more. You really needed one more draft.
Yeah. But then we get this classic exchange after Rebecca runs off with the sheriff. Did that teach you anything, Ebenezer? Yes. That people may let you down, but money never does. Put that in your peace pipe and smoke it. Like, oh boy. Oh boy. And then transformation comes from hope. I love how, so there's always the trope of them wrestling their bed sheets, but usually it means, you're in bed and you're like, tossing and turning and getting caught up in your bed sheets. In this case, he's standing on the bed with his boots on, just literally like wrestling. Like, it's like they read the words on the paper and no one knew what that meant. Like, I don't know, just do something.
Just do it. Just try it. Yeah.
Oh. And then we get Christmas Present, which is a Mountie on a horse, of course.
Yeah, Why not?
I like that.
At least they had the proper costume for the mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Scrooge calls him just Gas, which is a book reference.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah. Scrooge says it's indigestion.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, we visit the Cratchits, of course. 3 kids, all young, no Martha or whatever. It's funny. Like, Tim's the only one we care about. It's Tim plus 2. And they're having a rather luxe meal, I'm going
to say that, and the Cratchits' house is quite well appointed, actually, given where we are.
Yeah.
So, the Cratchits don't seem too badly off, actually.
No, they all seem pretty comfortable in this town, except for obviously Sam losing his house. That's another thing.
A really big fireplace as well, because it's one of those classic TV movie fires where it's like, let there be light, and there was lots of light. It's the most luminous fire ever.
And then, of course, the family needs money to send Tim, this time to a hospital back east. And Scrooge, as soon as he sees this, immediately has remorse. I just want to make it right, and I always get what I want, which is not actually true. He did not get his school, he did not get Rebecca, and maybe that's why he cheats, because he does not always get what he wants.
Yep.
But yeah, so we get the nephew's party. We get the debt collectors there. I love how the debt collector is the drunk debt collector is just friends with the nephew. Like everyone's friends in town except for Scrooge.
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's fairly true to the book. There's no games, but that's and then the question is, what does it all mean? Well, here's where things get weird with the 79 one. During the hauntings, because we have these two extra characters, Sam and Erica, they have their story being
Oh,
cut
not
in
not the
between.
79 one. You mean
Sorry, the 98 one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what happens in the 98 one. During the hauntings, we have these two extra characters, Sam and Erica, and they have their story being cut in between into the hauntings where they decide to break in because Erica just randomly, for the first time, told her fiance that she always carries the key of that saloon around her neck because it was her father's. And so they decide to break in and prove Scrooge is cheating. But when they find it, they go to confront him, and Scrooge is like, F you. I'm not going to admit to that. So Sam challenges Scrooge to a duel at dawn, despite the fact that Sam is short sighted and not a very good shot. Sorry, not at dawn, at high noon, because Scrooge be drinking. And Erica doesn't want him to do it. So they're arguing, but that doesn't really go anywhere. And then, yeah, it ends with Christmas pistols at noon. So did you think that you would be watching an adaptation of A Christmas Carol that ended with Christmas pistols at noon?
No, and this is the thing. I think you can do a lot with the Christmas Carol. I think there are many settings you can put it in, but this whole setup just felt like oil and water. Like it just doesn't. A western is just not a good setting for this story.
I think it could be, but I'll say why I think it's oil and water in a minute. But I want to shout out real quick the Sam's insults at this moment where he calls him a lily-livered, saddle-wetting coward and a lizard-licking chicken. And he says, what? A lizard-licking chicken?
What are you, 6?
I love it. I love it. And then the moral is like, don't insult me again, but then gives him the deed to the land and the horseback, admits to cheating, tells his nephew to shut up because he's not nice, and signs over the deed of the saloon to Erica because he was supposed to do it. So what is Scrooge going to do with himself now?
Yeah, this is the problem. This is there's been a number of adaptations that go down this road. Scrooge can be generous. He doesn't have to bankrupt himself. Like, he doesn't have to give away all his money. Just
right.
give away some of his money.
It's about balance, people. It's about balance. And then, of course, I love I had to write this in the notes. The nephew helps carry presents to the Cratchits like a good bellhop. And then, in good, positive historical tie-in, is they send Tim to, he says, a children's hospital in Philadelphia, which would be CHOP, which has been indeed one of the biggest, I think, children's hospitals in the country since 1855.
Cool.
So. And then Scrooge, and then they add in this random extra part where Scrooge, instead of going to the party, he goes to a play where he just rides in on a horse as Father Christmas, and he has to convince the town to accept him, which he does by singing and Timmy vouching for him.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
And Cratchit has a nice voice. But yeah, so for me, what feels like oil and water is not necessarily the setting, it's the messaging. Like, this is there, it feels like they're trying to shoehorn a lot of conservative style moralizing into this movie, like the whole judgment about the brothel thing and just also like the man who's asking for charity. They have one man who asks for charity in passing and he's drunk. You know, it feels like they're sort of trying to undermine that aspect of it. And he ends up calling Scrooge a mess and giving him money. Although Scrooge gets mighty drunk himself, so I don't know. So it's sort of, it's like they're, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, these are not Dickens values.
No, and, they aren't.
That's not the moral of this story. So for me, that's why where the oil and water comes from.
Yeah, but like it felt like, oh, it's a western, so we've got to have a shootout. It felt like that. Yeah, it just. Yeah, I mean, maybe you can do a western version of A Christmas Carol, but it just felt a bit strained.
Hmm. I mean, I think a Western could be right for it because it has that lone. It should be the lone gunman. It's Scrooge,
Yeah,
which they maybe had that thought, but they didn't really fully go down that road, like re-examining this trope. But then contrasted with the other one set during the Great Depression, as you were saying, that is a natural setting for this. And they praise FDR in it also, who was the president. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the president at the time, the author of the um, Great New
yeah.
Deal. And he is, or what is it? The New
But the
Deal.
New
Just
Deal.
the New Deal, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and he is one of my favorite presidents, except there's always an except. The whole concentration camp thing, where he puts Japanese Americans in concentration camps. So
Yeah.
Dickens would not approve of that part, but I
He
do
would
think,
not. He would not. I mean, actually,
but I do think Dickens would approve of the rest.
I thought
Yeah.
it was, 1979 is in itself an interesting time for an adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Because, 1979, 1980 is the beginning of the deepest recession the US
True.
goes through between the 30s and like 2008. So like
Mm-hmm.
1979, 1980 were not good times economically. You had a lot of people, out of work. You had very high inflation, very high prices. So this was sort of stagflation and Jimmy Carter. And I was because we did the Marlowe Thomas version of It's a Wonderful Life a couple of years ago, and that was not 1978.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought these are interest. It's an interesting time to be remaking It's a Wonderful Life, and it's an interesting time to be remaking A Christmas Carol because the end of the 1970s were not sort of very prosperous
No.
years.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. And then we have him, of course, the Henry Winkler version is obviously also very remorseful and generous, and he visits the Fletchers, aka Cratchits, with the chicken and presents. And he's I'm like, why is he's sending this child to Australia with a nurse, but not with one of his parents? I'm like, let his mom go with him. Come on. Like, he'll be back. You'll just have to live without him for a while. He'll probably come back in months.
Look, would you, like you say, the Thatchers are really boring. Would you want to be stuck on a steamship for 8 months with either one of those?
I mean, boring, yes, but then when he comes, Mrs. Thatcher thanks Mr. Slade by kissing him on the lips. Like,
Yes.
you just wanted to kiss the fawns. Oh, but of course he's going to reopen the quarry, and he gives back the stuff he repossessed to the people who are not spirits but look like them, and except those books he tore apart, I suppose.
Oh no, he says he can get them repaired. Apparently, so
Yeah. And then he decides to pay his experience forward by finding a new orphan child to he goes to the orphanage, and he's like, the most problematic child in the corner, Harry Barnes, that's my kid now. I'm going to apprentice adopt him too.
yeah, and
And fix up the workshop.
you can tell he's troubled because he's throwing a baseball into a baseball mitt.
Yeah,
It's
looking down in the corner. And
looking
this is
down.
troubled behavior. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he teaches him, and then he immediately gives him a knife and teaches him how to
yeah,
whittle.
a flick knife as well.
Yeah. I guess that's showing trust. But yeah, okay. You and I both have made clear which we think is the superior of these two.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like if you want to watch Ebenezer, it certainly is in the too bad, the so bad it's quite, the so bad it's quite
Yeah.
funny category.
Yeah. I mean, it's a unique entry into the canon. So I'm really glad that we watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like the others that we've seen, that's for
yeah,
sure.
it's not. I wouldn't put it in the same category as Clarence, like the It's a
Okay.
Wonderful Life sequel that just drove me to distraction. I did actually. I realised it was a bad film, but I kind of enjoyed it for its badness. Yeah.
Well, we had another contender that you thought might almost be a Clarence. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the two 2025 releases, starting with your favorite, and then the other one that it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, welcome back. It's time for our annual Hallmark check-in. Now, Luke, you chose this film. Do you want to tell us about Christmas in the Clouds?
Okay, so the easiest way to describe Christmas in the Clouds is, as we've said on a couple of earlier episodes talking about this, it's a Christmas Carol on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So our heroine, Elysia, see what they did there?
Oh.
See what they did? She is taking a flight from New York to Sydney, which is the longest continuous airline flight you can do. They do reference that in the movie, and I looked it up. It's true. It's not the longest. It's obviously not the longest flight you can do, but it's the longest continuous one.
Yeah. 20 hours, they said. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she will be visited by the three spirits whilst airborne. And that's basically the plot.
Yeah. While sitting next to her ex-boyfriend.
While sitting next to her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. So this one, I thought it was funny. This one was rated G, and I felt it.
Yes, it was very, very G.
It was just released in November this year. It was one of the first of this year's Hallmark Christmas batch. Is directed by Peter Benson and written by Christine Garver and Stephanie Jackson. And yeah, I have to say, as someone who has spent a lot of time on airplanes, the airplane tropes were fun. You know, they had fun with that.
Yes, they did.
With the ghosts being, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah. I particularly like Marley. You know, the version of hell was she is trapped at the airline safety announcement for all eternity.
Right, with seat belts as her chains.
Yeah, with seat belts as her chains.
Which are polyester. Oh my God. She's wearing polyester. That's her torture. Did the setup, though, when we started, before she gets on the plane at her office, did it remind you at all of the Carrie Fisher one? It's Christmas Carol?
It did. I mean, it's Hallmark. They know what they're doing.
They have a formula.
Within like 15 seconds, where the main character is introduced as Elysia, it's just like, yep, okay, it's Hallmark. Hit me with it. Also, the travel agency, Great Expectations trips.
Right.
See what they did there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there's a boy on the plane called Oliver he says, "Please, sir, can I have some more math problems to solve?" Oh, boy. The Dickens references are both on the nose and out of nowhere at the same time.
Yeah.
But Elysia, she's kind of proud of being known as the grind culture queen, but she doesn't realize that everyone also calls her Krampus, and she doesn't know that Krampus is like the German, like goat, demonic version of Santa.
But I like the fact, this is actually, there are
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, there are like bits from the book that are lifted fairly faithfully.
Yeah.
So they're complaining about the office being cold,
right?
Because the thermostat is set to 55 degrees, and like I hasten to add, it's not that the university refuses to heat my office; it's just that the heating in my office has been broken for the last couple of weeks, so I can sympathise. I was having the full Cratchit experience.
Did you belt a blanket to your body for a coat?
I did not. And I'm not allowed to light a candle in my office, so I didn't do that. The heating is now working, so it's fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But there was that. There was the refusing to give to charity.
Mm-hmm.
There was the I don't make other people merry at Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was with the refusing to give to charity, she says to the guy collecting tips for the building staff, "This time of year, I don't have anything to give." And I think she meant emotionally when I thought about it, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
She just doesn't feel like she has anything emotionally to give, which is why she's trying to skip Christmas. She wants to, as you said, 20-hour flight, and the direction she's going, it just means that she will take off on Christmas Eve and land on the 26th because of the way the time works.
I actually did that. I actually did that once.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I did. Obviously, it's not a continuous flight, but I actually did London to Perth in Australia on Christmas Eve and got there. I think there was like about 2 hours of Christmas left by the time I got there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was your plane all kitted out with decorations?
No, it wasn't. But like we were not flying business class. We were very much flying coach. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, so she's apparently going to. I'm confused about what her company actually does. Like, she is a travel agency, but she's going to
I think it's like
look.
cutting adverts for
That's what I
resorts.
thought at
Yeah,
first, but then she's talking about a chain of boutique hotels to buy or something. So it's very unclear what she has a travel empire. It's
yeah.
unclear what Great Expectations Trips does get. Anyway, it was a joke that's made at the end that I didn't make me laugh. But so we have her likable assistant Bobby. So we
With
have
an
a
eye.
female Cratchit, Bobby with an eye, female Cratchit this time. And Bobby's expected to skip Christmas with her family, including her ailing son named, oh, you'll never guess, Tim.
Tim. Tim has got the mysterious disease that only ever occurs in movie where you go and have to sit down very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. um, yeah, he did mysterious respiratory illness,
Yeah.
random coughs, very worrying. Um, and of course, Ella Neeser expects everyone else at the office to just like work until she lands.
They haven't got the advert right, Elysia. I mean, what do you want them to do? That wasn't the advert she asked for.
So okay, we had so then we meet her sister Frances, and there's some changes here. We'll get into that in a minute, but she brings up this pet jingle for Christmas, and I thought that was going to end up being worked into an advertisement.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go anywhere.
It's like God rest ye, I forget. It was like
God rest ye merry cats and dogs.
dogs.
Bark meow. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
They're barking and meowing and stuff. Yeah. I thought that was going to be something, but I guess it's just shorthand for their sisters. They have sister stuff.
Yeah.
And then her sister invites her to the party instead of her nephew because her sister's still alive. So fine, whatever. No nephew in this one. No Fred. Justice for Fred.
Yeah.
And the carolers in the lobby are this time singing 12 Days of Christmas, and that keeps coming up throughout.
Yeah, 12 Days of Christmas is probably my least favorite carol. It's just it's an annoying refrain. It's an annoying refrain.
Especially when it's also playing in the airport, and then the flight attendant starts singing it in a chipmunk voice. Like, no.
That flight attendant. Yeah, you're killing my Christmas spirit, dude. Yeah. Too much. Roll it back.
But then, of course, by the law of Hallmark coincidences, her long-lost love, Jake, just happens to be on the same flight, gets upgraded to sit in the seat next to her because he doesn't do fancy business stuff like her. He is going to Australia for vague charity reasons having to do with children.
Yeah.
He's helping underadvantaged children.
That was because I've been to Australia grand total of 3 times because my aunt used to live there. Mm-hmm. So first 2 times I went coach, and the third time I did actually get upgraded to business class. It makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. If you've ever flown business class, it is the bomb. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could afford to, like, if I had money, that would be something that I would splurge on. Is especially because the seats are getting smaller. Like, I am a small person. Yeah. I'm 157 centimeters, 5'2". It should not be difficult for me to like sit comfortably.
Well, I have no idea whether this is true, but I once read that the dimensions of a coach seat on an airplane give you exactly 2 inches more legroom than a slave had on the middle passage.
That sounds right. And because they are shrinking it to stuff more people in. Capitalism, my favorite thing. But yeah, so Jake there, he's not into capitalism either. He's into charity stuff, vague charity stuff.
Working with kids.
Right. And Ella, he's not going to move because why would he? She has to sit in seat 2B, which is like sometimes we see Scrooge has, and like we saw in the FX one, Scrooge had kind of an anxiety disorder. This seemed like they were hinting at it, but then like, no, it's just an excuse why they have to sit next to each other. Moving on. And then as you said, instead of the safety video, we get Marlene Jacobson, who we saw earlier blinking in a photo in the office, who is back to say like, and the funny thing about Marlene Jacobson in this one is that like it seems, and I suppose this goes with the hallmarkness and the G rating and all that, it seems like Ella was actually quite a decent person all the way through to when she started working for Marlene. So I don't know
Yeah.
if we've seen a version yet where Marley really actively is the one to corrupt
Yeah,
Scrooge.
that's true. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like a G-rated Devil Wears Prada. That
Mm-hmm.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that was an interesting twist. And then we get the Christmas, the all of the spirits are flight employees, so we get a flight attendant for Christmas pass. Like, and I loved all the little tropes. We know you have choices when you time travel.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the thing. Hallmark are very good at doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you.
College football never stops. When college football news breaks, it breaks on On3. From the transfer portal to the playoff race to coaching changes, the sport is moving every single day. That's why college football fans turn to On3, a trusted authority with real reporters and real communities built around the teams you care about. Find all of your favorite teams and join the community. Get the full picture at on3.com. That's ON and the number 3.com.
You either buy into the hallmarkiness of it or you don't. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I really like. Apart from anything else, I really like the production values of Hallmark. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the interiors are gorgeously shot. All the houses look really homely and inviting. They even make the aeroplane look. Inviting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going for the vibes. They know what they're doing. But it is interesting the twist we get with the visions of the past, where Ella, she was stuck at boarding school over the vacation with her sister, where they're doing their wolf meow song.
And also her parents suck. They absolutely suck.
Why?
Well, because they're working abroad and they can't spring for an airline ticket for their kids to go home for Christmas.
Oh, I don't know what kind of work they're doing, but yeah, it just seems like she's got a less pathetic background than Scrooge normally does. Like
That's true.
even when she was quote unquote stranded at boarding school, she was with her sister. So like, she's kind of actually pretty fine. And then we check in on her in the grad school library. I love how, because they're like, we're not recasting them, so we'll pretend that they're young enough to be grad students.
Even
College
though
is not going to pass.
These are clearly two actors somewhere between their late 30s and middle 40s. But
But grad school, yeah, sure. So Jake
also, that is the nicest university because let me tell you, I'm a connoisseur of university libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them, certainly in the UK, most of them seem to have been built in the 60s and 70s. So they're generally like concrete monstrosities.
Okay, well, you got to go to Penn. Penn has some lovely libraries. So does Amsterdam here, by the way, especially the Rijksmuseum. But yeah, so they hit it off, like they've had global markets analysis class together. They're flirting. He gives her this scarf, which it's a red scarf, but it is specifically ruby, not burgundy, crimson, or claret, because Bobby tries to replace it when someone at work steals it because it's cold. Like you said, it's cold in the office. So, yeah, I realized. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm confused about the timeline here.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're in grad school, there's this whole long scene of them sitting together taking selfies. So they have phones that are capable of taking selfies. And there's also this whole long exposition about he can't upload his photos to the cloud. So, like, it's also like the era of remote computing. So how long ago were they in grad school?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing too. Yeah, for the same reason, because it seems too recent.
Yeah.
And then we find out while she was in grad school, they were worked, or she at least worked for some guy named Fez doing who knows what, but his company failed the next year. But we get the party. That's an important touchstone for me. I like the exchange. Are you the ghost of Christmas nostalgia? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, usually the visions of the past have some darkness in it. But in this case, it's all like, remember how cozy your childhood was?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Hallmark and it's G, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we get I love the whole buckle up. We're doing a memory montage, like, just calling themselves out. That's good. Go for it.
Yeah.
And we find out Marlene Jacobson was her dream job. And then, of course, she chose work over love, blah, 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 the usual. And now she expects Bobby to choose work over family without asking or trying to understand. So I think this does fall into what you say is like the not evil, just inconsiderate.
Yeah.
More aggressively inconsiderate. Yeah. And then I love how when she comes to, she always wakes up instead of in bed, which is a cozy place. She's in the coach bathroom.
Yeah.
Jake finds her there. He's sitting next to her. Did he not see her get up and wander away from her seat and pull out because she's comes to wearing the flotation device. So she must have pulled it out from under her seat and walked to the bathroom, and he's right next to her. Was he sleeping? Was everybody sleeping?
Yeah, was everybody sleeping? Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And so the ghost of Christmas Present is like the aggressively Australian pilot.
Right. Very important.
He like the Mick Dundee pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a pilot this time, and she decides she does want food. Actually, 20 hours is too long to go without eating. So she goes for the kosher meal because she doesn't want Christmas meal, obviously. And so there's a whole feast set up in the cockpit. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
You got to savor the moments.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody that's done long distance travel knows you stick with the bread and the fruit. Like just ignore everything else because it tastes weird at 30,000 feet. Like even if it's well cooked, like your taste buds just don't work that high up. So you stick with bread and fruit.
I would have the shits if I did that. So
Okay.
I do, but I'm also I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. So that probably saves me some problems. But I do often get I'll get like the Hindu meal because it'll be spiced and have some flavor in it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we check in with what's going on when we check in on all of the present peeps.
So yeah, obviously the Cratchits are somewhat miffed that
right.
Mum isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
The employees are staging their own, again, very much like It's Christmas Carol. The employees are staging their own little insurrection.
Right.
What else? I can't remember.
They're making a lot of Victorian jokes too, which is just like norm. Of course, everyone's singing "Partridge in a Pear Tree" like it's their jam, and making jokes about the Victorian age. And I love how Ella can't believe they don't think she's a good boss. She's like, "I make them work hard. They don't like it."
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we have the sisters' dinner party. The fact they swapped the nephew for the sister, it does make extra sense that she would be defending her sister at the dinner party.
It does, and like they obviously gender swap the roles, so it's the husband bad mouthing,
right,
bad mouthing Elenisa rather than the
nephew's wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also check in, of course, on Jake's charity, but not of course, because actually this means that the ghost did some of this stuff, jumped back a day to before the flight. So
yeah,
all the employee stuff is like happening right now. And then it's like, actually, though, before your flight, look at this charity party that Jake was throwing and watch him get hit on by his colleague.
Yeah.
But we find out he hasn't dated since Ella.
Yeah, because she was just too like blindingly, brilliantly awesome.
He hasn't dated for 6 years because of it. I haven't dated for a while, so I but not because. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's move on quickly.
Swiftly moving on. But yeah, so, and then there's this friend, Paul, from Hempstead University, and the way they introduced him, I thought like, oh, he's going to play a role. Never see him again.
No, never seen again.
He's just like,
poof.
maybe you want to go out on a date. And he's like, nope, can't do that. Can never love again because Ella liked working more than me.
Also, I'll make this point here about Jake. As somebody who from time to time has experimented with wearing a beard and has always ended up looking like Tom Hanks in Castaway,
okay.
the amount of effort, the amount of product and grooming that must go into that beard.
It's a very nice beard.
It's a very nice beard.
It's very well taken care of. But yeah, they do, and they do a dive bar Christmas, which I don't like in grad school. I find that hard to believe they're still doing that, but sure, fine. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And of course she worries about Tim. That was their last visit and ends up back in the coach bathroom. And then we get yet to come Air Marshal, who not only doesn't speak, like his cheek muscles must have been so tired from his permanent duck face super scowl.
Yeah. Although did you not get slight Robert Sims vibe? With yeah.
I mean maybe the persona, like the I'm the although this guy literally does nothing but walk around and scowl. No shade to the actor. He was given no more to do.
Yeah, he wasn't giving anything else to do.
Yeah, he did his job. He scowled and he pointed. And yeah, we see the office planning a funeral, and then we find out about this. The oopsie, I took her scarf. Like, if you are terrified of your boss, you do not accidentally take her clothing. But anyway, because she left it lying around somewhere. And the office service staff, I loved how they made that employee, like the scarf is in some ways like the bed curtains that the maid steals.
Yeah.
And the office service staff is cleaning out her office, taking stuff to like the other two, the Undertaker and what is it anyway? And the interesting thing in this version is there are actually, unlike most versions, people, her family and Jake, who are genuinely sad about her death.
Yeah.
But she still can't figure out it's her. But of course, Tim's dead. But then we end up at Ella's gravestone. And yeah, they just kind of rush through the dark parts here at the end because Hallmark. And then we're suddenly back on the plane, emergency landing in Utah, where her sister Frances happens to live. So obviously the spirits intervened. And they didn't miss Christmas because she didn't literally fly through it.
Okay. I have questions here.
Okay.
So they land in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
The stewardess explicitly says that it's 1 a.m. when they land in Utah. They turn up at Frances's house next day with like double armloads of gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they get them from? What shop is going to be open? What delivery service?
Oh, in Utah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose there's always something, right? If were they in Salt Lake City, that must have been where the flight landed.
I suppose,
yeah.
But
yeah,
these presents are beautifully wrapped. I mean, like, what's open? What's open?
If you're wealthy, you can always find what you're looking for. Okay. I mean, I would assume Salt Lake City has, you know, yeah. Actually, we'll talk about the whole thing about staying open on Christmas with the next movie.
Yeah, we will actually, but yeah.
Yeah, and then the happily ever after is she asks Jake to breakfast and tells him she wants him back. And then she messes with Bobby. And I'm never like this with Scrooge, like, stop messing with Cratchit. Cratchit is like miserable enough. And then she's like, oh, just kidding, giving you a raise with medical coverage and sending you home first class for the holiday. Because we didn't say, poor Bobby, stuck sitting in coach in a center seat.
Yes. By the way, this is one of those American movies that, from a European point of view, you just want to go, the American healthcare system is silly, and it is immoral and silly.
Yeah, I mean, this movie doesn't work quite the same, I suppose, in the UK anymore. Although, I guess if you need specialized treatment, we'll talk about the next one.
Yeah.
And then so here's this part where she gives all the other passengers comped rooms at the 5 Golden Rings luxury resort because we're not done with that song yet. But like, that's my question. Does she own the hotels? Does she work with the hotels? Is she advertising for them? Is she like,
Yeah,
I don't understand her job.
I thought she was advertising for them, but now you bring it
At the
up.
beginning,
Yeah,
she did, literally.
Now you bring it up, I'm not so sure.
All right. Well, if anyone watches this one and has thoughts, we need to talk about this.
And also, can anybody, if anybody can point out like a strip mall that's open in Salt Lake City, Utah at 1 a.m. on Christmas
we can
Day?
probably. Well, it's not 1 a.m. because by the time that they go to their house, it's full daylight. So they went to the hotel.
It's 1 a.m. when they land.
Yeah. But they didn't get the Christmas presents until the next morning.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's my assumption. But they went to bed and then the next morning.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure there's places open on Christmas Day in the city.
Okay.
But yeah, and then she and Jake surprise Francis with said presents, and the scarf magically turns up in a bag. And we get this one does not win Best Timmy. We get the most awkward, God bless us, everyone. The end.
Yeah.
Party, kissy, kissy, the end. I did love her whole family's like, whoa, you're here, and Jake is here. What the hell is going? We like it, but we're confused. That was fun. It was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. So now we buckle in, everybody. We've saved the best to last.
Karma, Christmas karma. I don't know the rest of the lyrics to this song.
Do we want to put a break here? Because
okay, yeah, let's do a quick break, and when we come back, it's gonna be the whole shebang and more than you expect.
Yeah.
Just a sec. All right, let's talk about the one with Idi Amin.
Yes, because if anybody puts you in the Christmas spirit, it's Idi Amin.
Okay, so we'll get back to that in just a sec. We'll tackle that up front because that was probably the most unexpected part of this. But it is, just to set it up, this had a theatrical opening. This is the only one on the list that had a theatrical opening today. It is now, as we said, on video on demand in the US and UK. I don't know if you're elsewhere, watch out where you are. It was written and directed by Gurinder Chadha. And I am a fan of a bunch of her previous films. She's most famous for Bend It Like Beckham from 2002. I also love Bride and Prejudice from 2004, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging from 2008, Blinded by the Light from 2019, and she did a bunch of others. Are you a fan of any of her films?
I've got to say, I haven't. This is the first and only one of her films I've watched. I know.
I'm sorry, / you're welcome.
Yeah. I know Bend It Like Beckham. I know Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, but I just haven't watched them.
Okay. I mean, yeah, these are all good movies. People all tend to agree that these are good movies. I do have to say, none of them are of the size and scope of this one, which maybe plays a factor.
Yeah.
I will say I love it. I put it as my number one. The direction and the editing are probably, especially the editing, are kind of a hot mess. And the reception has not been kind. This is the Telegraph's from the UK's The Telegraph's second only 0-star review, which I'll say it's a conservative one, so they're not going to like this anyway. But yeah,
I will say the Telegraph. Yes, the Telegraph is a conservative paper, but I've got to say that their cultural section is actually quite.
Okay.
Is actually quite fair.
Open-minded. Okay.
To be honest, I would add as well. This is a musical, and the choreography at places is a bit. The choreography at places is a bit of a mess as well. And also it does have one of my nemeses in it. It does have Danny Dyer as.
I was going to ask you. All right, we're going to talk about him in a sec. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the music, since you brought that up, it does have original music, fun, emotional soundtrack. Actually, surprising pedigree behind the music. It's from Gary Barlow from Take That, Shazney Lewis from All Saints, and Nitin Sawhney, who's kind of, I don't want to call him more serious like the other ones aren't, but he's known for like orchestra and big name collaborations and stuff. But Yeah, what were you going to say?
I thought it was Gary Barlow. I was like
Okay.
waiting till the end because Gary Barlow has a signature. He has a signature style of singing and writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very obvious when he's involved with a project.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw people saying that online too. I'm not familiar enough to be able to recognize that, but it's very peppy. I like this. The songs were fun. The songs
were great. Some of the choreography was a bit.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And the thing is also the mixing of the songs, like they felt very pasted in post, and the lip syncing was atrocious.
Yeah,
like across the board, the lip syncing did not even bother to match.
Bad.
Like I'm not expecting Wicked, where they recorded most of those songs live. That's not a normal expectation to have, but this was just really the opposite of that. But it's still, the songs were enjoyable and whatever. I could just laugh at that part. The other thing that I hate to say that kind of bothered me at first, but it went away as the movie went on, is the performance from the lead actor, Kunal Nair, who, you know what it is? So I know him from Big Bang Theory. That's what he's most famous for. He's done other stuff since. But I think he is a good actor. And I think when we saw the more emotional moments where he's reacting to things emotionally, I saw it. It's that voice. I just wish they had let him play his own age. And he didn't do that old man voice.
Yeah. It's almost like it's almost like the because he's not Scrooge, he's Mr. Sood. But yeah, it's almost like the being the skinflint at the beginning. He almost oversold that part of it a little bit. But yeah, I think Kunal Nair, I mean, he is handed a really really difficult task. This is much harder to play than your average Scrooge. Because there's way, we'll get into it, but there's way more going on here.
Yeah, it's a complex one.
And actually, I think he's been given something really difficult to do. And actually, I think he does it fine. I think he does it quite well in places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like I was saying as it went on, it just like put me off at first because of that voice, like that whole, I don't know, that didn't work for me.
Really
but then,
deep, gruff voice.
Yeah. Like I'm being an old man now, like just talk like yourself, please.
Yeah.
But then when he was actually like emotionally reacting to things, then I felt it. Yeah. It's the most random cast. We have okay, so do you want to explain who Danny Dyer is? Because people keep talking about him in the reviews, and I'm not really familiar. It's definitely a British celebrity.
So where to start with who Danny Dyer is? So Danny Dyer sort of starts off playing B roles in British gangster movies. He's never like the lead gangster. He's always the henchman in gangster movies. And that then led to him doing like a whole bunch of documentaries is really the wrong word, sort of documentary / reality TV / exploitative garbage with him hanging out with a bunch of criminals and ex-criminals and and then he's sort of, he does a lot of commercials as well. He's one of those actors that's more famous for being famous than for anything particular. But he said some like really, really like retro. I'm not going to repeat it on a podcast, but he said some really, really deeply misogynistic stuff in interviews with like magazines and stuff. Which we don't need to get into here. And he's one of these.
That's interesting casting for this movie then.
Yeah, I mean, he has, in fairness to Danny Dyer, it was a lot earlier on in his career, and he has apologized for it repeatedly. But still, like, it was very unpleasant, and he's played a lot of very unpleasant. Basically, he needs to fire his agent. Because he's done a lot of very questionable sort of crime schlock. Some of it is really quite unpleasant.
But if he's known, I mean, I can understand maybe his agent has trouble getting him hired if he's known for saying terrible things in interviews.
Yeah. And yeah, he was on EastEnders for a while, which is a soap, and he's like famously Cockney. You know, he's a cheeky Cockney chap, which he plays up to the hill here.
Right. Yeah, because here he's a singing cab driver, which I guess isn't analogous to any character in other adaptations, right? It's just we get a singing cab driver in this one, and it's played by Danny Dyer.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that is famous for being famous and for being slightly infamous as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in it. Leo Sutter is in it, who's like a young, hot, up-and-coming actor. Eva Longoria's in it. You might know from Desperate Housewives. Billy Porter is in it. Famous singer, theater star. Boy George shows up. Like, what? And Hugh Bonneville, who is Mr. Grantham, Lord Grantham on Downton Abbey. So... yeah, quite the assorted cast. Very unexpected. And then I would say London. They really emphasize London, modern London, we should say. This is set in the modern day, as a character in this movie as well.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Dickens would approve of the politics?
I think Dickens would be deeply, deeply confused by this film on a whole bunch of levels. I do think he'd approve of the basic message, because it is the message of A Christmas Carol, kind of. Although this is the thing. Like, I'm not sure. I think that the politics of this film are a little bit confused. Like, it does have a happy ending, and it does have most of the beats you expect from A Christmas Carol, but yeah, I'm not sure what Dickens would make of this at all.
All right, so shall we set up the whole Idi Amin jump scare doesn't happen until we get to Christmas Past, so like almost halfway through the movie, but we might as well set up what that is about, where we get this unexpected. Do you want to tell people who is Idi Amin for people who just don't know it all?
So Idi Amin is the former dictator of Uganda. Came to power in a military coup.
And there are some people who are just like, what are we talking about now?
Idi Amin presided over a genocidal government in Uganda. There's no way around it. One of the things he did was expel the Asian population from Uganda. So tens of thousands of people had been encouraged by the British government, when Uganda was a colony, to move to Uganda to basically fill out a load of positions within the colonial government, and to help build the East African Railway as well, which actually I think the film goes into a good bit of detail.
They say that. We can quote, it says, many Asians were brought to Uganda to build the British East Africa Railway and have been living there for more than a century. This is from a radio report within the film.
Yeah.
And they make the point that these people are British citizens. And then says they looted India and Africa. Oh, this is what Sood says later. So, we didn't say, by the way, the Scrooge character is called Sood here. He says they looted India and Africa to build their own country. And then Idi Amin blames the British and says they should have just trained Africans to do the work building the rail line instead of importing people. And then he wouldn't have to do this thing, kicking people out, because obviously he has to, since they did that. And of course, they were attacked violently as they fled. They make sure to talk about that too.
Yeah, and by the 1970s, the South Asian population of Uganda had both grown, and a lot of them were small business people, shopkeepers. They owned a lot of the commerce in Uganda and a lot of the manufacturing as well. So this was like blatantly racist pandering, because the Ugandan Asians were seen by other Ugandans as being like disproportionately wealthy and disproportionately influential in the country's economy and politics. If you want to, it's not an entire book, but there's a really good 2-volume history of Britain in the 1970s by a guy called Dominic Sandbrook. People may have heard of him. He co-hosts a podcast called The Rest Is History.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so he did a double volume history of Britain in the 1970s. There's a really good chapter on the Ugandan Asians in States of Emergency, which is the first of the two books.
Okay.
Which is, if you want like a short overview of the politics from a British point of view, how people were resettled in the UK, and sort of the community and race relations aspect of it, it's about 40 or 50 pages, but it's really well done.
Okay. Yeah, since I learned a lot of my history I didn't learn in school through pop culture, I probably learned the most about Idi Amin through The Last King of Scotland from 2006, which is also where I discovered James McAvoy. And I know that one is maybe leans into sensational stuff, like there are questions whether or not he really mutilated his wife, played by Kerry Washington, but that image will never get out of my head, so fair warning, if you watch that, it is brutal. I know there's also another movie that's been on my list for a long time I haven't gotten to watch yet, from 1991, called Mississippi Masala, and it's about two people, one Southeast Asian origin and one of African origin from Uganda. But I think they've already left and they have a romance elsewhere, but they, obviously their families are buried in this division.
Yeah.
Ghost wants me to stop talking. So he ends up being an asylum seeker in the UK, and so it ends up being about like a kind of a movie about why would someone with an immigrant background become a Tory. That he has this whole shut the door behind him attitude, and we see him facing racism throughout, from just like he gets mildly heckled by some drunk people when they have a dispute over a cab, and the cabbie steps in, the singing cabbie. But before that, we find out that we find out later that before that he had actually gotten fully beaten up on the street by skinheads. So like he's dealt with a lot of racism and just shuts down because of it, basically. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes it such a strange film, is the tone of it, like lurches all over the place, because it goes from yay, happy Christmas, dancing, singing, Danny Dyer in a cab, to like, yeah, Idi Amin and racism and asylum season. Yeah, it's just like there seem to be two separate films, like trying to get out of this film, and I've never seen a movie shift tone as drastically as this film does. And I'd be lying if I said I thought it did it successfully. But on the other hand, there aren't that many films. There certainly aren't that many UK-produced films that deal with Ugandan Asians as a subject or as protagonists. So I think whatever else you say about this film, you've got to admire its ambition. You've got to admire what it's trying to do, even if it doesn't get there.
And it taught me, I guess, was it Bagwas he keeps saying?
Humbug.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So to get into some of the stuff that happens itself, it opens with him yelling at a stockbroker for being at a party, and then that's that. The stockbroker sasses back and is glad to be fired. Like, okay. And then immediately we're flung into this cab with Danny Dyer singing "It's Christmas Season in London." And people from all over the city are joining into this in this slapped together choreography with bad lip syncing.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's very much a musical in which everybody's gaze snaps to the middle distance and they just launch into it.
Yeah. There's no attempt to, but I think it's kind of funny. Well, so we get we get two Santas in this film, and the first backflip Santa who raps is the inferior Santa, I have to say. He's fine, but the other one's so much more. But then we see Sood walking through this, and he's the only one looking around like, why the hell is everyone singing and dancing? And they're all like laughing at him for not joining in. But I'm like, he's not wrong. Like he's like, this is is this normal in this universe or not?
Did you ever see that? I think it's Rocco's Modern Life where they do the pastiche of musicals.
Okay.
Well, it was, why does everybody keep singing? Because we've all got a song in our hearts. But how do you all know the words? Do you practice? Yeah, have you not seen the flyers? We rehearse every Wednesday.
Oh, I used to like that one. Yeah, and then of course back to the heating thing, where he's really freezing the hell out of all of the people around him in this film. If they turn it up 1 degree as a act of rebellion and start drinking and rapping about how much Sood sucks to the God Rest You Very Gentlemen melody.
I almost phoned you when that came on because I thought, like, I've got to get your reaction live to this. Like, no, you're probably busy,
but and then but Bob is that's the one who's played by what's his face, Suitor. He is grateful to Sood for giving him his start. So there's like some good characterizations and development here. And we see Bob defend Sood to his staff until Sood fires everyone except Bob, who I guess now needs to do all of their work.
Yeah.
But I loved that we should have gotten every time the nephew was on screen, he was great. I think he's a great actor, perfect line deliveries. And I love that he says that they have the classic exchange, but with a twist. What have you to be merry? You're Indian and poor. What have you to be grumpy? You're British and rich. And then, one of the themes, there's so many themes packed into this, but one of the themes is the fact that they are Hindu. And he's going around saying, like, Christmas is not even our religion. And his nephew's like, yeah, but all the gods are the same anyway. And people are like, well, we want to celebrate Christmas. Everyone else celebrates Christmas. Let us do it.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with Sood a little bit here because, like, nobody should be forced to celebrate a holiday. Nobody should be.
No, he shouldn't be forced, but he shouldn't be getting in other people's ways.
I guess, and also like the way it's done, it's the loudest, most in your face, most obnoxious version of Christmas as well. It's like everybody's drinking and it's not it's not. Yeah, I have some sympathy with Sood, to be honest.
Yeah, well, he's a teetotaler, and I'll say I come from a family of not teetotalers, and I know I have lots of British friends who are not teetotalers and definitely have loud drunk Christmases in Britain. So I know but it's not his vibe, and I think that's okay as long as he's not stopping other people.
Because like when Christmas Present turns up and they do the whole like feast in the dining room thing, it's like I'm teetotal and vegetarian, and like Christmas Present just like plows on, and it's like, hang on, actually that's a perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but what's not reasonable is like judging his nephew for marrying a white woman.
Yeah.
With no money and status, of course, also.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get, I mean, this is a surprisingly, like, it is a faithful adaptation in a lot of way. It hits all the beats with his visitors coming and the charity collecting and all that stuff. And then he blames Bob. He's like, you're poor because you had so many kids, which it turns out is 4, which is a lot, but it's not like a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's the Cratchit shopping song, because the true spirit of the holiday is it doesn't matter if it's a good gift, just buy something even if it's used. I'm literally paraphrasing the lyrics.
Yeah, literally. It's like, yeah.
And I love how there's 4 kids, but they only take the one that the audience cares about for shopping. The other 3 are like, are you named Tim? Stay home. Oh, we get more needless cab action. I'm wondering if the cab stuff is a reference to Scrooged, but then at least that was one of the spirits.
Yeah, like I don't know why the cab is there, and like for everything I've said, Danny Dyer is just he's an annoying screen presence.
But I do one of the funniest lines from the trailer that people keep mocking, but it is funny. Even though I am a vegetarian, by the way, basically, he's singing about like all the Christmas meats and stuff, and he says, "I'm a vegetarian. This is offensive."
But also, I mean, I will say this: cab drivers that won't take the hint that you don't want to speak to them, absolutely one of my pet peeves.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And this is another one that references Scrooge in universe. So A Christmas Carol exists in this universe, but then they never reference it like later. He's never like, oh, this is like A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he takes his info to complain about getting stuck in traffic. I mean, complaining about not shutting up when he wants him to, maybe getting stuff in traffic, nothing he can do. And then, yeah, he again goes to the shopkeeper, takes his penny back, and gives him another "Christmas is not for us" lecture.
Yeah,
and you know, this actually made me think about something that I had taken for granted, which is the fact that people who are not Christian will keep shops open on Christian holidays. And I'm always grateful for it because, like you're saying, where does one get presents on Christmas Day or whatever? Not that I normally do that, but this made me think like, oh, maybe they should have the day off too, just because everybody gets the day off collectively.
Yeah, you know, the one that always gets me with that is people that eat out at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
People that like,
well.
You know.
It's in the US, at least. It's a common Jewish tradition that Christmas is you go to the movies and you go out for Chinese food, and the movie theaters and Chinese restaurants count on it.
Really?
Financially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the one with KFC that's like? There's a.
I don't know.
I think no. Japan. That's the one with KFC.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we get him yelling at the choir in front of church. But here I'm going to defend him. He is 100%. They are a shit choir and they needed to shut up. And if they were adults, they would have been arrested. We haven't talked about, okay, so we get our first bit of CGI with the door knocker where a CGI face comes through. We got to talk about the CGI. What do you think?
I mean... This is kind of the whole sort of issue with this film. There is a good film in there. It's just layered under. It's just buried under layers of weird decision making, and yeah, no, like because the CGI for Marley looks like. If this had been released in like about 2006, it would look really impressive, but.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So the CGI for Marley, well, okay, we'll get to that in just a sec because I just want to shout out another question that I have about him entering the house. He has his maid, Mrs. Joshi, and she's apparently been cooking and cleaning without electricity
in the dark,
which leads to his indigestion or whatever because he didn't leave money for the electricity meter. Is this a British thing? Do you put coins in a meter?
This is the thing. The only people that have those electricity meters are either if you're very, very poor and therefore are watching every penny that.
So you really do put money in a meter?
Yeah, you can do, but like the only people I've ever seen are people that really do need to like spend very frugally on power and heat. The only other circumstance in which you'll do that is if you've not paid the bill.
Okay.
Like the gas and electricity company will come around and put a coin-operated thing in.
Okay.
If you don't pay the bill.
But I didn't even know that this was an option. So this is a piece of British culture I've just learned, thanks to this movie. And
like I said, it's mostly done as a punishment. Days if you like consistently don't pay your bills.
I mean, it makes sense that Scrooge or Sood or whatever you want to call him would do that. Yeah. If that's an option, I can see him opting for that. Yeah. But yeah, Mrs. Joshi's been waiting around because she wants her wages, but he doesn't want to hand it over in the dark, which Okay, invite. Well, okay, he doesn't want to turn the lights on before he goes to bed. So, and again, the whole lecture: "You are Hindu. This holiday is not for you. You don't need money for Christmas, and you don't need time off to spend with your family." So it's interesting. Like, I have the feeling with all of this that Sood, he's rejecting the British aspect of this holiday because he feels like if he gives in to celebrating Christmas, he loses a part of himself that's not British.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think that's an unreasonable concern. Like, if I were
No.
living in a country that the majority of people didn't, so say if, majority that celebrated a Muslim majority country or a Hindu majority country, I don't think I'd want to be sort of dragged along into celebrating something that wasn't,
If everyone's celebrating, I would want to celebrate with them. I mean, I do when I travel. I'm like, "What's your holiday about? Tell me about it, and I'll join in."
Yeah, I like, but it's that thing of like you have to be merry. It's like forced. It's like forced merriment.
Yeah, sure. I can see that. And then we get to Marley. You already said it. It's just okay. Here's the thing with the Marley CGI. It's clearly like they spent very little time on it. They did not give the VFX people, the animators, enough time. But why not just? They have at the end the practical. There's an actual guy who's playing Marley. Why not just have him in practical makeup? Like, why are we even messing with the CGI
why are we doing this?
Yeah. I did think it was interesting. No tie around his head, but his jaw does start falling off at one point.
Yeah.
I'd love to know his background. We don't really get any background at all about that side much.
No.
But he has his lesson in karma, which is, it is your duty to empathize with mankind. And then
I always thought that's that scene from The Simpsons. I'm not selling anything unless it's the prospect of karmic realignment. You can't do that. Karma can only be apportioned by the universe.
And then we get to the first ghost, which is, for me, in a movie of baffling decisions, the decision I understand the least is, why do we have Eva Longoria dressed up as like a Katrina, like a Day of the Dead doll, basically, with the skull mask, which, by the way, the Day of the Dead celebrated in Mexico on November 1st.
Yeah, nothing to do with Christmas.
Nothing to do with Christmas. Nothing to do with the UK, I don't think.
No, not.
I mean, Eva Longoria is obviously not from the UK.
Yeah.
Like, she and Billy Porter, the two American imports, which is fine. Like, bring in some big American names. I get it. But why are we dressing her up like a Day of the Dead doll? And then, like, it felt uncomfortably close to the whole, making the Cree woman into the nameless.
It does a little bit.
And then, can you speak English, please? We are in England. Her ghost face, though, was a good effect when she showed him.
It was.
That was because it was a flash, and they could have spent more time on that if they didn't try to poorly animate Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it took me a while to even realize it was Eva Longoria because of the makeup.
Well, I only knew it was because I'd clocked her name in the credits.
Right. I did see it, and then I forgot. And then, this is where things really start to go in an unexpected direction, where we find out suddenly it's like, okay, let me show you the past. And like, yep, we all know where this is going. Africa.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, it's Uganda. And he gets emotional. And we meet his childhood friend, Akiki, and they were like brothers when they were children. And then apparently didn't speak after he became, was ejected from the country.
When he has to leave, when he has to leave the dog behind.
Oh yeah, tell about that.
Oh well, I mean, it's just he has to leave. This is a thing. If you read accounts of it, the Ugandan nations were very restricted in what they could take out of the country. So like pets, people were literally being deported to a country they'd never visited before with two suitcases.
It's sure that wouldn't happen anywhere today.
Yeah.
It is interesting though in this case that they are British citizens, but they are still treated like asylum seekers because they are both. they need to be established, but they did have British passports.
Yeah. And and again, I'm just there's a whole bunch of legislation that is brought in the wake of the Ugandan Asians to like basically change British citizenship law. Although, in fairness, um, actually over the last few years, something very similar has happened because after the pro democracy protests in Hong Kong were violently suppressed, the British government basically said to said to any Hong Kongers who held a British passport, and that is the majority of people in Hong Kong because it was a former British colony. So most people in Hong Kong do hold a British passport. That basically, if you can get to the UK, which is somewhat difficult,
Yeah.
we'll grant you, you have safe haven as a UK citizen. So
Right.
something like over the past 3 years, I think I was reading something like 150,000 people. So it's a lot of people have arrived.
Yeah, I'll say that there was a similar after the Netherlands finally pulled out of Indonesia after World War II, and of course things had gone drastic. Even it is we don't have time to get into all that, but anyway, there was also a similar.
But I guess the point I'm making is that this is much more recent. These issues are still
persisting
in the 1970s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, like, I was doing this for a thing on work the other day. So the UK is currently taking in about 250,000 Ukrainian refugees, which is a lot, but nowhere close to what Poland and Romania have taken in. But
yeah, I mean, there were problems here in the Netherlands where they didn't have space. This has been a huge political controversy here, and part of the swing toward the right that's happened in recent years politically. And there weren't places because it's obviously from Ukraine, from various parts of Syria or just war-torn countries in like the Sudan, things like that. Just I would say, though, especially from the Middle East and Ukraine. And Ukrainians were first given special status, and then I think that's somewhat changed. But I think about, especially from, I thought it was funny they made a reference to the bland food in this, because I did think about, that was a thing that I was reading about in the news and stuff, especially when we were taking a lot of Syrian asylum seekers in. And they were, first of all, they were housed in prisons because the Netherlands has more prisons than prisoners. And so they were like, okay, we'll turn these into refugee centers because we are short. And so they're living this miserable space, and then they're being fed like Dutch meat and potatoes, and they realized that it made things a lot better for them when they allowed some of them to take charge of the kitchen.
Okay.
So that was it was just interesting that they definitely directly referenced that here.
Yeah.
And then his father dies of a heart attack.
But the worst line ever. They said he died of a heart attack, but I know he died of a broken heart. Well, yeah, that is
literally.
Is.
That is literally, yeah. What happened to their mother? Did they ever say?
No, I don't. No, if they did, I missed it.
And his sister was around, but then mysteriously died at some point. Not important. Nephew's still around. Yeah. Sister died. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then there's an old woman who I was trying to decide, is that his grandmother? But it must not be because she didn't take him in. But she was with them when they immigrated. But maybe there's just like a whole group of them that went together.
I think aunt, potentially.
Maybe. Yeah, but then she shows Sood. And so, she doesn't take him in, but then she shows him, she's like, actually, I've got a bunch of diamonds hidden in my food. So, and she says, remember, with wealth, you will always have respect. And he does. He takes that entirely too much to heart.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about, I thought it was interesting how they portrayed Fezziwig as being like a white, well-meaning guy, but who is like, he won't call Sood, Ishan is his first name. Instead, he just calls him Eddie, and he's like, oh, it's just easier. So he's fighting not to celebrate Christmas, but gives in to, oh, just call me a British name. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of Chinese students at the University of St Andrews that will have their own name, but will adopt an anglicised name as well. And that's not because it's just easier than having your name constantly mispronounced.
I mean, I guess the argument is Ishan is not difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, he thinks, of course, as always, Fezziwig was too generous and ruined himself, blah, blah, blah. But we get some awesome 80s fashion and 80s dancing.
Yes. Awesome 80s fashion.
Incredible work. And then we get his love. I think they did the love montage better than most.
Like it wasn't bad.
Her name's Bee in this case, and she comes to work at Fezziwig's, and they have the whole falling in love montage. He asks her to marry him, and I think this is interesting. Her parents, she's also Southeast Asian. Probably not from Uganda also, but I don't know. But anyway, her parents reject him for having no money or family. And so this actually provides one of the best motivations we've seen for Scrooge, or Sood in this case, to actually why he wants to dedicate himself to earning the money before marrying. Why money over love? Because he's told he can't have love without money.
Yeah.
But then, he does it too well. And then he's the jerk who's rejecting a loan to Fezziwig. And when he goes back to see her dad, Bee's dad, she's like, I know what you did to Fezziwig, and you're no longer the man that I love. He says money can help us escape. And I feel that. I feel that as someone who is struggling financially. You just have that feeling like if I just had the money, I didn't have to worry about those things, then I could just worry about the things that matter instead. But it's just that rat race to get that. And obviously he got more than enough and didn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she accuses him of hiding from the world by looking down on others, which goes back to that whole... I mean, I think they actually do some good characterization work in this movie, in this amazing mess of a movie.
Yeah, this is the thing, that there's a lot, there's good stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, of course, present day, she's married with children and grandchildren. And then she hears about Sood firing everyone on Christmas and is saddened. But here's my question about this part. He's still with Ava Longoria, the ghost of Christmas past, visiting the present. Why is she there?
Well, in fairness, they do actually do that in the novel.
The ghost of Christmas past goes to the present? Yeah,
because when they're talking about I can't remember the name of it. You go and the Ghost of Christmas Past does go and see not Fran. Who's the
Isabel.
Yeah, they do actually go and see her because it's not the present in the novel, because the husband is walking past Scrooge and Marley's.
Right.
As Marley is
it was still in the past.
Dying, so it's still the past.
Yeah, it's still in the past.
Yeah.
And this one, because she knows what just happened with him firing everyone in his office, that means it's the present. So they should have just, I don't know. It was just a little sloppy there.
Yeah.
But then I do love this song, like, don't let the pain define you.
No,
as the
sorry.
man who can never return. I don't remember the melody.
No,
but
sorry.
Like, don't let the pain define you as the man who can never return. Don't let the pain devour you. Face it, embrace it, and learn. That's a good message.
It is, but it's...
But then what's not a good message is he tries to strangle the ghost. Actually, pretty book accurate. And wakes up wrestling the bed sheets the normal way. He's laying in the bed, like, you know.
Yeah.
And he still has the ring. Oh my God. It's been how many years since they broke up, and he still has the ring he proposed to her with.
Yeah.
Ugh. But then we get Billy Porter. Are you a Billy Porter fan?
I have no idea who Billy Porter is.
Well, now you do.
Yeah.
So are you a Billy Porter fan now?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Billy Porter is like, I suppose, especially a stage icon, but he's definitely in a lot of movies and things like that. And he's known for singing, clearly. He sings Rise Up, and his message is don't accept injustice and only protect yourself. Fight injustice with the people who actually care about creating a better world. That's pretty Dickensian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And also he has like a pair of sidekicks who are introduced but never heard from again.
That's true. They're his backup singers, but then they skedaddle. And he gives a video tour of Christmas around the world, which does really recall that montage in the novel where he's singing all the Christmases.
My favorite bit of the novel, that, and it's almost always cut out of the adaptations.
Did you like this version?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it was. I'm just always glad when that is in there because, like I said, it's one of my favorite parts of the novel.
Yeah. And then, so then we obviously visit the Cratchits, or what are their names? Did they even say their last name? There's just Bob.
It's just Bob.
So Bob has 4 kids, including, of course, Timmy, and I'm sorry, but this always makes me laugh. Timmy with a rare illness, tumors. What? I don't mean to laugh at tumors. It's just, what are we talking, cancer here? Like, what's going on?
I'm gonna need more. If you want me to cure this kid, I'm gonna need more information.
More information. It just, and I hate to tell you, sadly, cancer is not a rare illness. But okay. But this time they're trying to get to a specialist in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then this is actually this is proper sad. The 6 of them share a single chicken.
Single chicken that was a day out of date as well. That's what makes it really sad.
Yeah. But their family vibes are great. Like, we barely hear from 3 of the kids. That's fine. But the parents have lovely vibes.
They do.
That would be part of their family and share their. Well, I don't even eat chicken. Some more for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hear Bob thinks Sood is depressed, which is really empathetic and real.
Yes.
And he sings about empathy for the boy inside the man.
Again,
charming.
Charming. Gary Barlow. It hurts.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Okay, contrasting this with the Ebenezer Western one. In that one, we didn't talk about it, but it's like Scrooge was forced to go with the ghosts. Like, they kept, like, he would be like, no, I don't want to. And they would force him along and confront him with this. Like, there just seemed to be this tale of we have to tell them what to do. Whereas here, he always makes the choice for himself.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
Yeah.
But then the best part of this whole present thing is definitely visiting the nephew's party, where the entire party sings about Sood the miser, and Sood looks miserable about it, but somehow doesn't want to leave. But then, of course, Indian Santa comes in, and that was one of the best parts.
The choreography and blocking for this is just...
Oh, his part was great.
And choreographed these dances, like...
And then we hear for the rest of the movie about how Sood hasn't gotten any hugs since Uganda. Like, okay. But his nephew reminds him of what he lost, but he believes his nephew will learn cynicism. And then we learn Uganda's reopening to Asians born there. So, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And finally, we end with Future, who is, as we referenced, Boy George is in this thing. So that song, I was trying to remember the melody from. This is the Boy George song that he's singing, and it's lovely singing. And as soon as he shows up hooded with this like netted mask, and then rips it off, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Do you think that was like written into his contract? I'll be in the film, but you've got to show my face. Like, I need to be seen.
Well, I mean, I think the film wanted to. They're like, we got Boy George. We're going to make sure the audience knows. And then, it's straight to the funeral, which this time Sood knows it's his own funeral. His former colleagues, of course, don't care that he died, just about the financial aspects.
They do the scene of the business people standing around talking about his death, but like, I don't know where they found the 4 people to play out that scene. It is the worst bit of acting. Like, I know they're supposed to be like braying assholes, but like, good grief, that was one.
But then, yeah, it seems like also they conflate the 2 funerals. Like we see at first that only Bob is at his funeral, but then it seems like Bob is actually attending. Well, Bob and Mrs. Joshi. And then it seems like Bob changes seats, and I guess that's him attending Tim's funeral.
Yeah, I think that they were like intercut together.
Yeah.
But again, in a way that was really awkwardly done.
But my favorite part of this is we have Boy George, we have Billy Porter, and we have Eva Longoria. So 2 of them are powerhouse singers, and the 3 of them stand there together. So 2 of them can show you how well they can sing, while Eva Longoria just smiles and nods along. Like, why did we cast her? Just because she's a name? Like, what are we doing here with this character? Like, I like her. I like the actress. No shade to her. But what is she doing here? And then, of course, we get the final redemption thing. And I love how Sood's repentance when he wakes up apparently makes the children's choir much better.
Yeah.
They can suddenly sing. And now he's like, Christmas holiday for all. You must go home and spend time with your family to Mrs. Joshi. And he gives her the matis, the cracker type, like, yeah.
It's kind of like I think they're like hollow. It's kind of like a samosa, but without the filling.
Yeah.
It's
hard. But anyway, he cracks it open and he gives her a bunch of diamonds inside, and he says a lady made them for them. And I'm like, what lady? Like, did the lady did he hire an extra lady? Did he give her diamonds while he was making her bake diamonds into a pie? Or is he saying like this is some mati that he's had around for decades that the other lady
you've put way more thought into this than the film.
Okay, another important question. Are these blood diamonds?
I don't no, because that's generally speaking a West African phenomenon, not an East African phenomenon.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so then he goes around and with his, I think he gets the generosity balance right enough. You know, he buys out the convenience stores. Well, I don't know, because he buys out the convenience store stock at 10 times the price so that they can take time off with the family. And then he goes to the Christmas market and says, I'm buying everyone everything. Just put everything on my tab.
Again, you just need to give people some of your money, Sood. Not all of it.
But of course, he goes to Bob's house and asks him to be his business partner, but he still determines Bob's holidays and salaries. So I don't think that partners get to decide this stuff together. But he, of course, gives him a check to send his kid to Switzerland for tumors. And
non-specific tumors.
Tumors. And now Cabby, Colin, they sing together now, and he dances with Indian Santa, returns to lead the dance. I forgot. In the meantime, though, he stops by his nephew's party, storms into the party, and shoves food into their face. Now, I'm sure this is based on a cultural practice of showing acceptance by feeding someone. I'm also equally certain that you do not normally do this by running into the party and shoving food into people's faces unexpectedly. But yeah, so then now we're in the market. Everyone's together. Indian Santa's leading the dance, and the hugs of Africa are mentioned again. You know, he's very sad about not getting hugs since Africa. And then we jump back to Africa itself, to Uganda. Apparently the only person who's allowed to hug him. So, okay, you had your questions about Scrooge and Marley, or Simon did.
Yeah, Simon did, yeah.
Now questions about Sudan and Kiki, why he only needs his hugs. They run to the grill that somehow hasn't moved in 50 years, like when they were kids, and there's giraffes just chilling around because Africa. But no, they get pretty, and then they end on a pretty sunset boat shots eating corn that must be cold by now, and What's her face? Mrs. Jonas sings Last Christmas in Hindi over the credits with the help of the entire cast and crew. And I was charmed by all of that nonsense. What did you think of the ending?
I mean, yeah, it was very much in keeping with the rest of the film. But this is the thing. I can understand that Telegraph review that gave it no stars.
Sure.
I can understand where that's coming from, and I don't think you need to be like, it doesn't need to be like a culture war thing to get there. There are some baffling choices, directorially, musically, cast wise. There's a lot of stuff in this film that doesn't work. On the other hand, it does its heart is in the right place.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it is trying to do something. It's trying to explore quite complicated issues in an easily accessible way. And it's trying to use the structure of Dickens' original story and his original authorial intent to talk about contemporary issues. And so, like, I can understand thinking this film is piffle. But I admire what it's trying to do at the same time as recognizing it doesn't pull it off.
I mean, for me, like, it works as it is, but I see what a mess it is, and I see there could have been a different version, but I also just like unabashedly love this film as it is.
Yeah.
Can I read to you the best 5-star review I found on Letterboxd?
Go on.
So this is from someone called Zackelberg, who so I'll say this is going to be a list, and some of these things we've touched on, some of these things we have not had time to touch on, so you just get a preview of more of the insanity. I seriously recommend watching this movie if you've had fun listening to this conversation. But Zackelberg says, instead of giving this review, I will go through a list of events I found funny in the movie because this is just a Christmas Carol, and if you're reading this, you know the story. Santa doing a backflip during a musical number. The text for the title being the same as the cast and crew, like the exact same. I don't know, I didn't notice that. Danny Dyer. A man called Bob Cratchit works for a man called John Marley and has a son called Tiny Tim, while to boom, a Christmas Carol exists and no one mentions it. Sued, this version Scrooge, is just presented as a somewhat firm businessman for the first 10 minutes before he says he doesn't like immigrants and fires his whole workforce aside from Bob on Christmas Eve. Sued yells at children in front of a church for singing. I still think he was justified. The ghost of Christmas Past is Mexican with a skull face paint, unexplained as to why. Christmas Past is doing this as a favor for Marley. 10-minute history lesson about how Indians were kicked out of Uganda. Sude's father dies of a heart attack because the British food sucks so bad. Sude denies Fezziwig alone because he sucks at business, which causes his love to leave him. The ghost of Christmas Past takes Sude to see his current day love, finding out about how he fired everyone on Christmas Eve, which obviously should have been done by Christmas Present. Christmas Present thinks a song will fix Sude. Bob whips out a guitar at Christmas dinner and sings a very lengthy song while everyone's dinner gets cold. Tiny Tim thanks the NHS.
Oh, God, yeah. You know the whole thing about the NHS as a secular religion in the UK? That's not meant to be taken literally.
So it's NHS's National Health Service in the UK for anyone who doesn't know. But Sude's nephew has an awesome song that is interrupted by a man who I can only describe as Indian Santa, and it's awesome. Yeah, they literally paint him as that. So Yet to Come shows Sude his casket, then takes off his robe hood to show that he is Boy George. All three ghosts appear, and only Present and Yet to Come sing, with Past just standing there awkwardly. Awful fire green screen. Awkwardly cuts a scene of Tiny Tim being dead, Yet to Come having his hood back up, implying this happened earlier but is only shown now. I didn't even notice that one, to be honest. Tiny Tim's corpse is shown in the bed he died in. Sude tries to sing to comfort Bob despite knowing that he can't be heard or seen at this point. Sood is called crazy by a child for being incredibly festive. Sood gives his cleaner his grandma's diamonds that were hidden in baked goods for 60 years. I don't know if that's the correct interpretation, but it's the funny one. Sood buys out an entire corner shop. Sood screams into the air multiple times about how festive he is. Sood and Danny Dyer force their way into the Cratchit household, the mother yelling, telling her kids to come over here in a worried and alarmed manner. Awful CGI Marley ghost that smiles at the end. Indian Santa comes back to the final song. The movie ends with two 60-year-olds frolicking in a Ugandan field. I loved all of this, and it is my favorite cinema experience ever. Everyone was waving their arms in time with the final song.
Yeah, I think
That
if
sums
that's
it up.
your favorite cinema experience ever, you haven't watched enough movies. But
No, I mean, but this would be such. You and I didn't watch it in the cinema, and it seems like it would be fun to be in a where people are just like getting into. Like, this would be a fun one to watch with a group, like a family and friends. Yeah.
yeah, I suppose midnight screening. Everybody's had
Mhm.
everybody's had a little bit to drink. Everybody's in a good mood. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what? This would be a. Yeah, I could see this getting like a cult status, like a Priscilla
Yeah.
Queen of, like a Jesus Christ
Yeah.
Superstar or Priscilla Queen of the Desert, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see this being a big hit on streaming once people can watch it together drunk.
But like you said at the beginning, it absolutely bombed. I mean, it absolutely sunk without a trace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people weren't even aware it existed. And the only reason I was really aware is because we do this.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think on streaming, people will just discover it. And yeah. But okay. Yeah. Any final thoughts on that's it for the season? So overall thoughts on this season of A Christmas Carol.
On this season, overall, I didn't. I think we exhausted a lot of the A tier Christmas Carol material last year. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
but I've discovered a load of stuff that that I wouldn't have found otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Ebenezer Sheriff Bellhop will live with me for a long time. For a long time. Christmas Karma, like I don't know whether I'll revisit it, but it will certainly stick in the memory. For a while, I really like the FX version of A Christmas Carol. I will definitely be watching that again.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the sheer pleasure of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that this was this is now we're getting to the point where it's almost fun in a way to just like dig through the random stuff and be like, what's in here? Like what weird places has this IP gone?
And it's gone to some weird places.
Yeah. Yeah. So next year we're going to dip our toe in some more. Again, we want to hear from you if you have any particular favorites that we haven't covered yet in TV specials or in general. So jump into Discord, send us an email, we'llshiftspodcast@gmail.com. You'll find those links in the show notes. And there's also the Supercast and Patreon feeds in the show notes. They are the same thing. Supercast does offer some more options for a little less money. So just depends which you prefer. But that's where we have the special book episodes, things like that. So, and we promise in the new year, our New Year's resolution is to finish that book, Dune.
Well,
And
we will try our best. We're not making any promises.
we'll do it. We'll do it a bit at a time. Oh man, it's such an overwhelming book to cover. But I am halfway through editing our first episode. Anyway, we will
we will return, and of course, at some point, relatively early in the new year, the new series of Silo,
yes,
will be coming
so
to Apple.
the fact that we haven't heard anything yet, I'm my guess based on absolutely nothing is maybe like March.
I was going to say March, April.
Yeah, I'm feeling a spring release for this, considering we haven't heard anything yet, but we know it's really coming almost really soon.
Yeah, and we know that they filmed season 3 and 4 back to back. So
Yeah, so for
we are going to get answers. We are going to get completion.
yeah, there should be a lot of answers in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to the new book club members and stories ins, I will shout you out on the next Doom episode. That is when I said in emails that I would, and it just works out for timing. Luke, do you want to shout out what is up with It Could Be Said?
We are gonna do. We keep trying to do an episode, but life, particularly at the moment, seems to be getting in the way. Because Will, my co-host, has kids. And me and Simon have both got family for Christmas. So I'm not going to tell you when we're going to do our next episode because I don't want to make a liar out of myself. But I'm sure we will do a year in review episode before too much longer.
All right. And if you want to check out the Lorehounds main feed, it is full of stuff as ever. Just wrapped up a weekly coverage of It, Welcome to Derry. I was a part of that. David and Nicole covered Pluribus on a weekly basis. Actually, that's still ongoing and it's wrapping up just before Christmas or something. David also recently covered with historian Brian the American Revolution series from Ken Burns. John and I did a one-shot on Talamasca, and there's also one-shots on Predator Badlands, Wicked, Frankenstein, and watch out for Christmas Day on that feed. There's going to be the Lorehounds Top 10 TV, and then there's going to be the day after that a check-in with some of the hosts on the network with some updates and news. And somewhere in there's also going to be a Christmas special where we're covering Violent Night on the Lorehounds feed this year. So lots going on over there. Any final thoughts, Luke?
No, I think you've bled me dry of Christmas Carol content for another year.
Done my job as usual, and now you can take time off and watch your precious Muppets on Christmas Eve.
Yes, Muppets.
Maybe I might make my family watch 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and just look adoringly into those little Rankin Bass kids' loving eyes. Not at all beady.
Pure nightmare fuel.
Well, to everyone listening to this, thank you for hanging out with us and listening to our nonsense and our unnecessarily deep dives into A Christmas Carol because we like it. May you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you are celebrating, wherever you are celebrating. God bless us, everyone, especially the bellhop sheriffs of the world.
College football never stops. When college football news breaks, it breaks on On3. From the transfer portal to the playoff race to coaching changes, the sport is moving every single day. That's why college football fans turn to On3, a trusted authority with real reporters and real communities built around the teams you care about. Find all of your favorite teams and join the community. Get the full picture at on3.com. That's ON and the number 3.com.